Ilion belongs to me. Ilion is mine. I won't destroy what belongs to me, killing you. And I won't let you destroy it either. You had the nerve to come after me here? Do you have the courage to follow me again? Do you have the courage? I'm the Dragon Reborn, and I'm going to kill you, Samael.
All right. Well, I mean, this looks well. This is a classic. So, all right, fine. You get a pass this time, but you're still a dipshit. I have won again, Nerdporial. Warning, the views of the PIPS do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nerdporial or the Nerdporial Continuum. Be forewarned.
Everybody got that?
Forgot to do this. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Chillporial. As you can see, I have reused a lot of assets from last time. And who do we have here? Nobody important. What's up, Pips?
I just want to say that I am offended by your disclaimer, and everyone should know that he brings me on here to say the things that he wants to say but can't say. So the views of the Pips do, in fact, reflect and represent the views of the Nerdporial.
Hey, I'm in Chicago.
You heard it from me.
We gaslight by
Pips,
trade here.
Who represents the views of the Nerdporial. So now you know that this is actually him saying it.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. I figured this is a long time coming. So, Wheel of Time. By the way, before we even go further, I need to ask you, what art thou drinking tonight for this very special? This was we planned this one for a while, but things just kind of came up that were unexpected on Friday. I mean, Rafe waited for you to go to a graduation. He waited for us to have our Chillporial to get a show canceled, basically.
Yeah, I think they actually planned it. I think they planned it for a weekend that I was going to be unavailable. I think is really what it was. It was a tactical move by Rafe Judkins' team and the Amazon executives. They were like, "Oh no, like how do we make sure that this doesn't get too much celebration?" And they're like, "We should do it when the enemy, the Pips, because obviously I live rent free and in the showmaker's mind. Obviously, they're constantly concerned about me. That's why they all have me blocked. That's the only thing I can think of.
They all have you blocked.
I've never said anything to 90% of them, but I'm blocked by all of them.
Well, what's funny is I've gotten my best ever tweet, my most ever engaged tweet was basically celebrating that the show got canceled. So I've gotten I got a lot of salt. I got a lot of salt, and let's just say I kind of dished her right back.
Good, as you should.
Well, they're all, the common thing that they're saying is, "Oh, you guys ruined it. All you guys did was shit on it. Now we're never going to get an adaptation again. Oh no. Good. That's what we wanted."
I mean, the response to them saying we're never going to get an adaptation again is that we never got an adaptation in the first place. What is this again that you're talking for you to say again? There would have to have been a first time.
Yes.
And then, of course, obviously, we didn't ruin it. They ruined it by making this non-adaptation.
Yeah,
I think Alex, who runs the White Cloaks official, he said it perfectly, that he was like, the Wheel of Time season 1 had a bigger premiere than season 1 of The Boys.
Yeah, I read that.
And that is what you should understand about the strength of the IP that they had and how much they failed.
Yeah, I mean, Wheel of Time is the most sold fantasy after Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, and then before Game of Thrones.
I was gonna say,
I
think Game of Thrones has sold more, right? But it sold more
after Game of Thrones came out. So, but yeah, so yeah, I was just like, if they're like, oh, we can't adapt Wheel of Time into we need 20 episodes in order to do it. I'm like, if Game of Thrones could do it, Game of Thrones is the Game of Thrones, the first book is the same length as Eye of the World. It could be done. It could easily be done.
Yeah, I mean, it could be done if you wanted it to be done. But hey, before we get too far back and I forget to answer your question, right here, I'm drinking some Whistle Pig.
I forgot PIPS. I forgot PIPS, not Nerdporial, is hosting the stream. Here you go. You can go on this side, to quote a king from Lord of the Rings. So
you know that one of us has to stay on topic when Drunk Porial shows up. That so I'm just trying to keep this thing on the rails here, because you're about to say what you're about to drink, and then it's going to go. I mean, you're already looking a little pink in the cheeks there, friend. Are you you've been sampling the wares so far? Is Drunk Porial already here?
Nope. It's probably, I don't know what it is. Probably my something. So
we should say he didn't deny Drunk Porial existing, because Drunk Porial is real.
You're a little pink yourself, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, I am drinking. Well, we could blame Dane for this one. So I am drinking Lagavulin Islay, whatever, single malt Scotch whiskey, the distiller's edition. And I'm going to read what's on the box right here. It's a pretty box right here. So, full-bodied and richly peated, Lagavulin is the mightiest of the Islay malts, whatever, both in style and intensity. To reveal the full depth and complexity of this single malt whiskey, the master distiller hand-selected a small number of casks for double maturation in Pedro Ximenez seasoned American oak. Its accents of rich, sun-dried grape sweetness were chosen to complement this spectacular single malt's rich, complex style. I'm not going to read the rest of this for the sake of everybody. So, but yeah, so I'm going to be trying this neat. So,
all right. Well, cheers and Slàinte.
Slàinte what? Oh, Slàinte. Oh, that's Scottish, right? Or is it Irish? I forgot.
It's you know what? I'm not gonna claim to be a linguistics expert. I think Scottish is there's a language tree with Scottish and Gaelic and stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's Gaelic or Scottish.
You should know. You actually got some ancestry in that, right? You like to remind everybody what my ancestry.
Okay, how's your Polish, you friggin' Polak?
Well, kudva to you too. Kudva. Pips kudva. I actually
drink up.
It's not bad.
So,
not bad. Well, so I'm tasting the peat right now.
So, would you agree?
Actually, I just think
we were talking about it backstage. The peat is often described as smokiness in a Scotch. I don't think it's smoky. I think there's like I don't know, like it's boggy is kind of what I think of. It's like earthy, like the smell of like fresh tilled dirt.
Okay. All right. Whatever. But let's propose I'm going to propose another toast.
All right.
Here is to Rafe Judkins and his failure of a show. Here's to the Wheel of Prime. May it be forgotten. So the work is not finished, everybody. May that work be forever forgotten. in the annals of time. Amen. Or is
Cheers.
it a women? I don't know.
Oh, boo.
I always do that.
I see Trip in the chat. Trip had a good toast to Rafe Judkins one time.
Okay.
She might have to remind us in the chat. I think it was like, toast to Rafe Judkins, and then it might have said something like "Go fuck yourself." Like, I think it was pretty. It was pretty
All right.
blunt.
So before we go any further, I got to take command of this stream again. I want to say hello to the chat. So we have Denlock Eben. Did the directors even read the books? Well, Pips, you can answer that question.
I mean, I think that they had to read something in order to know how to do
they read
exactly
the wiki.
the wrong thing. Like
they read the wiki.
Well, so there's the incompetence versus the malice argument, right? Incompetence, they just read the wiki and they didn't know what they were doing. The malice would be they knew the books intimately in order to subvert and destroy them so fully and completely.
It could be both. It could be in between.
I think you have to look at different members of the team to really know who's who, right?
I mean, like, I don't like. Obviously, Rafe was lying about all of his claims about reading the series and everything. Like, he's like, I was like, I was really into it as a real little kid. I'm like, no, you weren't. You weren't even. I don't know.
I think Rafe probably read it like a long time ago and maybe never finished it.
Probably. Yeah, I could believe that. So Denlock, thanks for being here. We have Max. We have Lord Vader himself, Staple Bow. We have technically Mexican libations. Yep, libations to you too. Aldan. Oh, I see Aldan. Nice to see you, Aldan. Someone named Trip. Hi, Trip. How are you? Dude Guy, and we got Dark Wolf 735, and he has the Breath of the Wild link on there. Oh well, that's just my opinion. Oh well. I like Zelda, but not Breath of the Wild. So all right. So what shall we talk? Well, let's start with Wheel of Prime. I think that's why everyone's here. That's the main headline. So, how long did it take for you to hate the show? Was it after like the first? Was it like everybody? Was it like everybody says the prologue of the episode where what's her name, Rosamund Pike, basically says, "Oh, this is men are bad," and whatever. I don't even remember exactly what she says. You know the show way better than I do.
So depending on your view, I have the questionable or dubious honor of being one of the sort of OG White Cloaks who actually like didn't fully completely hate it from the first second. I think that I was real high on the hopium. Like, I love this series. I wanted the show to be good. I gave the show, like, I was doing all of the rationalization and trying to just say, hey, maybe they'll figure this out by the end of the season and it'll make sense what they're doing. And like, they have to cut some stuff, but like they're trying to, and season one, I think you could kind of do that. Like, season one, it was a lot more subtle for at least the start of the season in the way that they were going to play their hand in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like season 2 and 3, it was like so completely off the rails that it was unrecognizable, right? Season 1, like up to Shatter Logoth, like it's kind of following the story beats a little bit. And if you sit there and you put your blinders on and you like really want it to be good,
yeah,
and that was like what I think I was doing. And I was watching it with my wife, who's never read the books, and we watched the first 3 episodes together. When they first came out, and like neither one of us thought that it was good, but I like didn't hate it yet, right? I like wanted to give it a chance, and I was really hoping for it to be good. And then episode 4 came out, and I kind of like.
That's the one with Steppen, right?
No, episode 4 was the one with Logain.
Then which one was the one with Steppen?
I mean, Steppen is in it, but it's not the Steppen episode. Episode 5 is the one where like Steppen offs himself and all that stuff.
Okay.
So episode 4 happened, and I was like, well, this is simultaneously like a better episode, but it's also like nothing that happened. Like none of this happened in the books, right? And so I was kind of confused about how to feel about episode 4. I was angry because it's like, why are we doing all this stuff that's not in the books? Like we were speed running through episodes 1 through 3, and we cut out Barrelon, and then we have this episode 4 where like all this shit is going on that like didn't happen in the books and doesn't need to be happening. And where's the main character? Why is Moraine like not worried about where Rand is? You know?
Yeah.
And so episode 4, I think I like kind of reached my limit, and I was kind of like, if episode 5 is not like solidly good, then I don't see how this show comes back from it. And then episode 5 obviously was episode 5. From there, you know, I really just started going over to the dark side. So I say all that to say that like I gave the show a chance. In fact,
you guys, all you guys did, I think.
In hindsight, like it's almost embarrassing how much of a chance I gave the show, because I totally agree with people who are like, from the opening monologue, you knew that it was going to be shit. And I have to agree that like, yes, from the opening monologue, you could tell. But I think at the time I was maybe a little less aware of what was going on in like the larger media space.
Well, like with all this stuff, with like all the other, you know, like, you know, the Disney Star Wars, New Track, all that stuff that's already been going on. I mean, you had Star Trek Discovery already happened.
Yep. But I knew that like a lot of bad TV shows and movies were coming out, but I didn't necessarily think it was like a really systemic problem where these studios were like actively, you know.
This was before Rings of Power, right? I think this predates Rings of Power by like. Now, when did this first air? This first aired in 2021 or 2022?
2021.
This fall. So around the same time House of Dragon, or was it? No. Or no. That was the year before. Okay.
Yeah, it was the year before. House of the Dragon and Rings of Power came out after.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I to kind of cut in myself. So you guys, everybody knows I read Eye of the World by this point before I even knew it. Before I knew who the White Cloaks were, you know. Now everybody knows who the White Cloaks are. You know, White Cloaks were right. But I even before I met Prophet, I read Eye of the World years ago. You know, I was looking for a new fantasy after Game of Thrones, and I read those. My buddy made me read Stephen King read Dark Tower, and I was looking for another book series. And Wheel of Time, I Googled and I looked up Wheel of Time. The first thing I saw was Brandon Sanderson's name and Robert Jordan. So I was like, oh, this is one of those novels with two authors. And then what's funny is I saw the last books first, and then I learned about Robert Jordan because of, you know, once again, George R. R. Martin's little, you know, 2009, you know, posting, you know, him addressing his detractors and all that. And so I read the first book. I liked it for the most part. It felt very Lord of the Rings. Like there were things that I really didn't like. There were things that I felt just came out of nowhere. But then again, those things, you know, pay off in later books. But I was just kind of confused at certain things that happened. Like all of a sudden, Matt speaks, you know, the Old Tongue right before they've had that initial Trolloc battle on the field after Burlon. I was like, what the hell is this? This wasn't set up. So I was a little annoyed about that. And then just, you know, all of a sudden, you know, you introduce the villains at the end of the book and they're dead right away. I was just like, what? I'm like, okay. And then by the end of the book, I felt like, oh, I read a complete story. Why are there 13 more books? So I did start the Great Hunt. I did read the prologue for the Great Hunt, and I read the first chapter. And I was like, maybe I'll read it later. I never got around to reading it later. I read other stuff, and you know, so
see. And if
but going back, trying to make my point. I noticed that Wheel of Prime came out, and I remember the thing was 2016 or 2017. I saw the announcement, and then I see the casting. I was like, oh no, oh no, I see the casting announcement like, oh, they're doing this. It's not going to be good. And I ended up being right. I ended up being right because, if you can't, if you can't, respect what was already, can't respect the author and what the author put in the book and how he describes his characters, what makes you think they're going to respect any other details? And that's kind of where my thinking was. And everyone just called me, an ist and an ism and a phobe and all that. And I'm just like, no. If you're not, I mean, I watch enough Star Trek. I like it when things are consistent. I mean, Lord of the Rings films. I mean, were there changes? Yes. I mean, Wheel of Time is going to have changes. A show adaptation is going to have changes, but not. I mean, I just kind of knew, like, when it just became a red flag for me when you see casting, when they have to show casting announcements. Well, when they have to announce casting announcements, oh, we're going to have this actor and we're going to do this because we are good. We are we're on the right side of history here by making these announcements and showing how good and virtuous we are in these announcements. I was like, okay, this is going to be bad. It's just it's been a consistent red flag ever since.
No, I agree with that, and I mean, to be fair, so I said I gave the show, or I tried to give the show.
Yeah, I'm watching the first episode. I'm like, since when does Perrin have a wife? Why was Egwene thrown into a river? I don't remember any of this. I'm like, I was actually asking myself, did I miss this? Because I remembered the first 6 chapters pretty freaking well, and I was asking myself this, like, and then I realized the show was gaslighting. The show was gaslighting me.
Yeah.
So sorry. I interrupted you.
No, I was just
sometimes the PIPS has to be interrupted, or he's going to talk for hours and hours and hours. Not that that's a bad thing. I wish I had that ability.
No, that is true. You'd have to cut in. So, like, I agree with you. I remember when some of the first announcements came out, like the picture of the sword when they first published that, and like the picture of the rings and stuff like that was those weren't good. The casting announcement stuff. I think I was trying to be really kind of fair about it, where, like, hey, these studios have all these stupid rules now, and so maybe the team actually is really trying to do the story justice. But, like, the studio, it's made by Amazon. Amazon says 50%, in front of and behind the camera, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, so maybe it's not the director. Maybe the showrunner just has, hey, he's got bosses and he's got to do stuff, right? And I wanted to try and justify it and rationalize it because I wanted the show to be good. But I remember good friends of mine who also loved and read this book for a bunch of years. We talked about it, and I mean, a lot of you guys probably remember Daniel Green and Dusty Wheel, and
I knew who Daniel Green was because I was looking for new series to check out before I met any of you guys, before I even started my channel. So I knew who he was. I never heard of Dusty Wheel or Nablus or what's the other guy? Wheel
Hatch.
Yeah.
But anyway, a bunch of those guys came out, and I forget which specific ones. I think it was like Daniel Green and Matt Hatch. But anyway, they came out and made this full-on video. That's probably what Staple is mentioning there. That was like talking about how essentially a ethnically homogenous Two Rivers is like not possible because there's like only a couple thousand years of time, and Manetheren would have been like a thriving, metropolitan, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that started in Lord of Chaos.
Yeah.
After the events of Shadow Rising, with the especially with refugees coming in from across the mountains.
Well, their point was that the fall of Manetheren was only like 1,000 or 1,500 years before the main series, and so from the time that Manetheren fell to that all of the various and diverse assumed to be diverse people of Manetheren and the assumed to be diverse people of the Age of Legends couldn't become homogenous in that amount of time. And it's like, well, first of all, you're making assumptions about those populations that's not in evidence. And second,
I mean,
of all,
they are isolated for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why Robert Jordan goes out of his way to say, like, you know, nothing ever happens here because, you know, it's the same, you know, I mean, it's the same people that have been living in that part of the part of Randland for like the last, like you said, 2000 since the Trolloc Wars, right? So there's not going to be a whole lot of people coming in unless some real major shit goes down in the meantime. And what was the only other thing that happened since then? The Arthur Hawkwing.
Yeah,
that was 1,000 years before that. So all the just count the amount of times, but Alzamon, you know, makes an appearance. So
anyway, they made that video, and you know, you're just sitting here like, man, all these people who, you know, used to be like really big, you know, the big name channels for this IP and series are sitting here, and you can see them all lining up behind this. And that was like, okay, that's not a good sign, right? So all these people who are getting the insider information, they're getting the special treatment from the studios to promote the stuff. They're all lining up behind this. But like I said, I mean, when the show came out, like you know, it was, I think like watching the first couple episodes was a lot like my experience watching The Force Awakens, where like I sat down in the studio in the theater and I watched the movie, and like
during the studio, you're that important. You're VIP.
Yep. So I sat down in the theater. I watched the movie with some other people, and I think like while it was happening, I was like, you know, oh, it's Star Wars. Like, I, you know, really like Star Wars. Like, it's, you know, all these great memories and stuff like that. And then like it ended, and I like thought about what I just saw, and I literally like leaving the theater, I was like, I think that might have been kind of shit.
Well, I mean, the first thing that my brother and I noticed is that they killed Han Solo before we even meet Luke. We don't even know what's going on with them. That's how they ended the movie. What's weird was I was like, are they going to end it this way? Are they going to end it with her just walking up to him? And they did. And I was just like, wow. I was just like, whoa, they ended Han Solo in a very terrible way. And they killed any chance of you know, of them all getting together.
Yeah.
I know I realized that right away. I walked out of the theater realizing, I told my brothers, and my brother's like, we have to wait. We have to see this movie again. We went and saw it again. And yes, a lot of the issues we had, which I felt despite the movie being shit, that it set up enough to have a decent follow-up. So that's why I was like, okay, maybe 8 will be better. 8 had a good.
Oh, I agree. 8 is the reason that I never watched 9. 8 is the reason.
Well,
that
yeah,
is the thing that ruined the prequels. Like The Force Awakens was member berries and fan bait, and it had a lot of problems. And it was what I was trying to bring that up. Like the point I was trying to bring that up for is not to like side road into the Force Awakens conversation, but the fact that like when you're so primed from like nostalgia and like desire for something to be good, you can kind of watch it and you'll forgive so much, but then later when you have to like think about it again, and I think that's why I was able to make it through to like episode 4 and like not be on the hate train. And then, you know, starting with episode 4 and then really by episode 5, like episode 5, I flipped the switch. The scales fell away from my eyes, and I was, you know.
And you still, but you still watched all the way through, right? You didn't just stop, or did you stop and then watch again out of obligation to the?
I actually never. I did not watch episode 8 until we did the rewatch.
Really?
And yeah, so the episode 8 rewatch was actually my first time watching it because episode 7, I was so mad after episode 7. And I think when episode 8 came out, like it was a reason that I couldn't watch it like when it came out. And I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done with it.
You know, I'm done with you.
So yeah, the rest of the week they made me watch episode 8. That's still broken inside from that.
so yeah, Lan crying and what was it, twisting his nipples. And then I remember like it was my I think you guys documented my reaction. So after reading Eye of the World, I think you guys documented my reaction to season 1. And there's a nice little rage moment I had. But like there was a moment where you're like, is Perrin and Rand gay for each other? Like when they're arguing when they're yelling at each other right before, and Feldara.
It was like watching boxers when they like do the face off,
stare,
stare down. It was, you've seen it like a couple times with the stare down where like there's clips of like, MMA fighters or whatever where one of them like kisses the other one, and like the dude tries to like
what?
You've never seen that clip?
No.
Oh yeah, there's at least one clip where like the dude comes in and like gives him a peck on the cheek or something like that, and the guy like
just
loses it and tries to like fight him right there, and you're just like, man, that was kind of hilarious. He's just smiling, and the other, and you can tell he like went in, gave him a peck on the cheek, and then he's like, why you gay? Like, it was, oh yeah.
I did not see that.
And the Perrin Rand showdown, like I 100% think they were. I mean, the whole show was made for shippers, and the just weird parts of.
I didn't even know what a shipper was until I was listening to you guys. I didn't know what a shipper was, and they're like, oh, and then someone had to explain it to me. It's like like the Raylos. I was like, oh,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
You don't make stuff for people like that.
And Staple Bow, there's no plan. There's no plan. A buddy of mine actually messaged me post cancellation, and he was like, hey, did you ever see the interview Sanderson did where he was talking about how they never actually storyboarded the books and they just wrote like episode by episode with like a different writer assigned as the lead writer for each episode, and they were writing the episodes like simultaneously, so that they like they were writing all 8 episodes in the season simultaneously with no overarching storyboard, and just I guess just Rafe like kind of supervising so
and he's never ran a show before, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
he's never ran a show before, right? So
he like wrote.
Why would you give
like a bad season of Chuck?
What were they thinking? Like, oh, Dan and Dave did it with Game of Thrones. They haven't ran a show before either, but they did a good job. Well, yeah, because they actually respected the source material. At least they knew how to adapt. They knew how to adapt the first 3 books.
But just imagine that, really, though. Like, I mean, the fact, like, literally anybody who's handed a series of books should know that if you're like, hey, we need to do an 8 season, we need to do an 8 season, 8 episode arc, telling of this story, right? Step 1 is you storyboard the series.
Yeah.
Like that's what you do, is you sit there and you take all the main characters and you map out their stories
and their arcs,
and then you put that on a board
with
your runtime essentially, and you start pushing at the ends and cutting things in the middle to try and make it fit. And then you get to the end where you've compressed it enough where it fits in your timeline.
Yeah.
And then you look at all that and say, okay, what errors did we make through those cuts? What discontinuities and things that no longer make sense have now happened? And then you have to maybe undo some of those cuts and make different cuts, or you have to now maybe cut a little further, and then you have to maybe invent some pieces of material to bridge the gaps between your cuts. Like, this is so obvious. So when you're hearing Brandon Sanderson saying that they didn't storyboard the seasons, and when he brought this up to them, they told him that he didn't know about how to run a TV show. Like, you're just like, oh My gosh, no
and
wonder.
that's where the I tried comes in, basically.
I mean, I don't know. I think that he probably did try. I think that he probably correctly assessed that they did not want his input.
Yeah.
You know,
probably didn't return emails or whatever. I don't know. But just but like, it's just I'm glad it's over. And I'm curious, like, how you think a proper adaptation would be. I mean, obviously, could they go like, like the Game of Thrones route where they, cover different characters scene by scene, skip from chapter to chapter, obviously. One thing that this show did was instead of showing winter night properly with, him dragging, Tam in the forest, trying to get back to the town and missing all that, we get this terrible fight in the two rivers like this where we barely see any Trollocs. So one thing I could say about these 3 seasons, you barely see any Trollocs, and Trollocs are supposed to be like they're the grunts. They're the ones that are killed the most out of anything in this world, and we barely see anything like that.
Well, you simultaneously barely see Trollocs and see too much of the Trollocs, right? This show, like, apparently they never watched any sort of like old school horror, right? Like,
yeah,
the less you and I did the Jaws retrospective, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And the takeaway from Jaws, and like the takeaway from honestly like old school monster flicks where they did not have CGI and they didn't have the budget to do crazy effects and stuff like that, was don't show the monster, right?
Yeah.
And what we get in season 1 is Trollocs in full daylight, shitty CGI, like running on all fours through the woods and stuff, like in real weird motions. Yeah. We see them like fighting in full light and they're like not the right size and they look stupid. And then you see the dune worm mouthed fades for no reason. Just screeching. They're just terrible CGI faces.
Screeching like they're ringworms and all that. I'm just like yes, we know that they're using Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones as a model for their stuff, but you could have put a little more work into it and make it its own thing. You didn't have to. I mean, the fact that we're able to see that as the viewer is problematic.
The crazy thing, talking about using other shows as models, the fact that they tried to turn the Wheel of Time into a fantasy West Wing.
A fantasy, I haven't watched the West Wing, so I don't. I'm aware of it. I remember it being out.
That's the place where we get the walk and talk from, right? Is from West Wing, and the show loves to just two female characters walking and talking in a hallway about vaguely political things, and you're just like, no one cares. Like, what are the main characters doing?
Yeah. That doesn't sound political. Yeah, I'm trying to remember a particular scene now.
Season 1, not even in the White Tower. Obviously, the White Tower was full of this nonsense, right?
Yes.
But in Faldara, you have the scene with Moraine and Lady Amis or whatever, Emelisa. Sorry. The two of them walking, and like Moraine blackmails her into like sending a letter, about Matt Cawthon so the Reds can go after him and catch him. And
that's right. That's
and
right.
And just, it's like, what is happening? Yeah.
Oh, Matt. Yeah, that show did Matt dirty. So Matt was evil. Matt was evil. It wasn't the dagger that was evil. It was Matt that was evil, if I remember correctly. So, I'm gonna. Here's another toast to a dead show, and we have to talk about what we have to talk about like like what a good show would entail. I was curious if you would be up for who you think would be a good actor to play the various characters and all that. So.
Oh, well,
they could be living or dead. It doesn't.
We're gonna be
matter.
super disappointed in that. Like, my ability to give names of actors and actresses, terrible, absolutely terrible. I like bands and like actors and actresses. Like, no, I never remember any of that nonsense.
You could, I mean, I'm cool with, if you like really popular ones, A-listers. You can name A-listers as far as
I'm just saying, like, even the number of like A-listers, like, I just think, for me to be able to like say this person's name, they have to be like an A-lister. Like, I could tell you people like Henry Cavill, and like, like the true sort of like A-list celebrities. Like, I know their names, I can say, Morgan Freeman, right?
Yeah.
But like, if you were like, hey, who is the actor that played in this? And I just like, no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. So, I mean, for one person that I think I have in mind for like Logain, for instance, I have Errol Flynn in mind. Very old actor from the 40s, from 30s and 40s. That swashbuckling type. I think I don't know if it was Robert Jordan. I don't know if Robert Jordan said that he had that in mind. I don't remember. But
okay. I can tell you, just because I mentioned Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill's Witcher would have been a great Lan.
Yeah, I can see that.
Give him a little bit of gray in the hair. He's too young to be Lan, but they needed.
Yeah, isn't Lan like supposed to be like 40 or 50?
Yeah, he's supposed to be like mid 40s. Yeah,
mid 40s. Okay,
so he's too young, but like he's got the right size, and he played that character. I think that character was actually played the way Lan should have been played, in terms of especially like season 1, The Witcher.
Yeah.
Somebody who probably could have played the role, although is now too old, would have been like maybe like Dolph Lundgren from like a decade or two ago. I don't think he has the acting.
Like him as a Punisher.
Yeah, I don't think he has the acting chops necessarily. Like, I never really liked him as an actor. He's like, but he just plays kind of a machine, not a person most of the time.
I think he could do it. I mean, the guy's a chemical engineer. I'm sure he can deliver.
What I was actually going to say is that I think less is more with Lan, right? So he actually wouldn't need to. You wouldn't give him a ton of dialogue.
Yeah.
And he's very stone-faced, right? That's one of the reasons I say, like, I don't necessarily like him as an actor. Like, he doesn't have a whole big emotional range, not that I've seen. That's a great comment, though. House of David's a great show.
I've only watched the first episode. I haven't really, watched beyond it. I mean, it was basically the first episode ends with Samuel slaying the Goblin King. No, excuse me, the was it the Midianite, the Moabite, the Midianite king or something?
Amalekites.
Amalekite? Was it Amalekite? I don't remember. Canaanite, whatever. Yeah.
Although
all the jerks in the Promised Land that God wanted Israelites to eradicate, basically. So whatever.
I do have to return to Tripp's comment where she says that I would encourage the casting of women with large tracts of land. First of all, that would be canonical. So I would actually support that, because I believe the author's vision should have been brought to us, the fans. I want women with personality.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on the fully personality type. That's what I agree with that. Just fully, like all the way.
Trip, just take it as a sign of how much I love and respect Wheel of Time, that I would not want them to change Robert Jordan's vision. And so even though, like, I personally, like, obviously I would not choose that myself. Obviously not. I mean, everyone knows, if they know one thing about me, they know that I'm a feminist. And so obviously
True.
I would not choose that for myself, but it's Robert Jordan's story. And so we would have to, yeah, you know, I mean, it would be a hit. It would be a hit. We'd have to take that hit for the team, I think. But, you know.
If Henry Cavill from 15 years ago, like Immortals, Henry Cavill before he bulked up to play Superman. Like maybe you know, I could see him as Perrin. I could actually see him as Perrin too.
He could be a great Perrin, actually. Yeah. I'm trying to think who currently, you know what, I will say this.
The guy from Midsummer, the tall guy from Midsummer, I think he's got reddish hair. I think he could play. Well, he was also in The Revenant, the one where Leonardo gets mauled by a bear.
I saw it, but I don't remember.
There's a young guy in there. There's a young guy and he's really tall. He's probably as tall as you. How tall are you again? 5'3"? No, I'm kidding. No, really tall guy, over 6 feet, and yeah, I could see him. Will Poulter. Yeah, his name's Will Poulter. I could see him playing Rand.
I actually want to say the actor that they had playing Rand. I think he's a little too pretty.
Yosha?
Yeah, I think he's a little too pretty, but I think.
Oh, I didn't think you thought that way.
But I think he could have been a good Rand, and I think there's some times in his portrayal of Rand where he actually is given like a brief moment to like have an actual like scripted thing that is like consistent with Rand's character, where you're like, man, like he actually, like, he did fine, right? So I think that had he been given the right script, I think he could have played.
I think he looked the part for the most. I think he looked the part for the most. I don't know, when I read Rand, I just
like, I mean, you know, I just mean that I think he, when given the chance, I think he had the ability to play the character. He's a little too short. You know, there's like some other stuff, but like that is always going to be a problem when you have like a 6'5", 6'6", you know, character. You're not going to find somebody who looks right and is a decent actor who's that size. Like, you're talking about, just by being 6'6", you're talking about like 0.05% of the population. You know, if not even less than that.
You have to like hire like a basketball player.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, they were never really going to be tall enough. You really just hope for kind of forced perspective and some consideration on the production side.
I think they're going to do that with what is it, Duncan the Tall, in the new you know, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. You know, Duncan Egg. I think they do the same thing. They found a guy who was tall enough. To tower over everybody else.
I mean, they did it with the Mountain. They did it with, you know,
Well, they kept changing the actors from. I remember the first Mountain was like over 7 feet. The one that cuts off, you know, the one that should offend you the most, the one that cuts off the horse's head, you know, during the jousting thing. And then, of course, you know, and then they hired another guy. I think it was a stunt guy. He had like maybe one line, and then they hired Hapthor. Yeah. He's only what is he, 6'8", 6'9"? So he wasn't that tall. He's about the same height as Rory McCann.
Yeah.
Rory McCann, you know, great. I liked him as the Hound, but sorry, I'm going off track again. Sorry, Pips, you got to rein me in. The horse has to rein the Nerporial in.
Well, let's see comments here. A young Johnny Depp. I mean, let's be honest. A young Johnny Depp could have played like half the characters in the series. Johnny Depp's great. He's a great actor.
I forget. Yeah, you're actually. Yeah, I forget. You're hosting this. You're reading the comments before me.
He's a great actor. And has a lot of range, so I think he, you know, could have nailed most of these characters. He's too small. How young? Like, are you talking like What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Johnny Depp, or are we talking Nightmare on Elm Street, Johnny Depp? I'm thinking more Nightmare on Elm Street, Johnny Depp, 1984, Johnny Depp. Yeah. No, I think probably. I think What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I don't know. Tripp might have different thoughts, but that's what I went to. So.
And the Hound too, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think let's see, other characters. I think Natalie Portman could have played Moraine.
Natalie Portman, or Natalie Portman from like maybe a decade ago?
Younger Natalie Portman. mainly just because the agelessness.
Well, like Revenge of the Sith, Natalie
probably.
Portman. You're breaking my heart, Pips. Natalie Portman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. And this is maybe a tangent here, but I'd say that if I was doing the Aes Sedai, the ageless look, which the show clearly just tried not to do. They just like, we're not doing agelessness, right?
Yeah.
But if you were going to do the ageless look, I would have probably done kind of the way Wise Ones are described and less the way that Aes Sedai are described.
Well, if I remember correctly, was it Amis? So the ones that can channel, like Amis, for instance, like she has no, like, only thing that makes her look older is her hair.
Yeah.
Everything else, like, she has no like wrinkles or anything, not like Bear or Cerelia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about or Mullane. Well, Mullane looks younger or something, but I'm curious. I'm curious about her.
Wise Ones are they look young, but they might have gray hair and things like that, right? So I would have done that.
Oh, and then there's the other mystery that I haven't gotten to yet in my read. The kin's another factor in this agelessness that I'm kind of curious about. So I'm curious if that's going to be off. Sorry. I know.
No, you're pulling at some interesting threads, and read and find out. But the point that I'm saying is that I would make the Aes Sedai. I would have cast mostly, if not almost exclusively, younger women.
Yeah.
And then I would have done hair, so gray hair, white hair, to denote Aes Sedai of extreme age. And then I would have done, I would have had the makeup department work on it a little bit to the point where they
would have to do something. Maybe they should wear like contacts or something, because it was always like you could always, I think, wasn't it the eyes? You could tell like that they weren't young or old. Wasn't the eyes?
That's one of those artistic things. That's one of those.
No, wasn't that what Robert Jordan described, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, but that is a trope in literature, how you can look into someone's soul and you can see the experience and the knowledge and wisdom in their eyes and stuff like that. And
I'm gonna keep drinking.
Keep talking. But I think younger women with graying hair, things like that. And then for the Aes Sedai versus the Wise Ones, you just try and cast, women who looked very youthful. So you cast like middle-aged women who looked young, right? Yeah. For the Aes Sedai, I think you'd almost go kind of like the Botox effect, right? You'd cast women, or you'd use a makeup effect to try and like their faces would be like a little too smooth, right? So so they wouldn't really look like a really young woman, but they'd look like an older woman who maybe looked young.
They look there's an artificiality to it.
And that's the way that I would do that.
All right.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
And it would be one of those things that like the show only audience would probably not appreciate, but like, that's the right way to do Easter eggs, right? The right way to do Easter eggs is you have things that are there because they're supposed to be there, and you don't necessarily talk about them. And that's
Easter eggs. Didn't you do a video about such things a while ago? Yeah. You got stop. You got to drink less. You have to drink less, and you got to remember stuff.
Yeah.
The fact that I remembered is pretty tough.
A young Catherine Zeta-Jones, or even an old Catherine Zeta-Jones, that woman ages like fine wine, could play Lanfear.
What I mean, only thing I know about her, she was in a movie with Sean Connery, and she was in I have not. What's funny is I remember Zorro. I remember all the trailers because I used to watch TV all the time as a kid. By now I never saw the movie.
Another woman who aged like fine wine and could have played.
Connelly, Jennifer Connelly.
Mm.
Yes.
So I would say yes, but I think I was going to say Selma Hayek. Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, Selma Hayek. I agree on Selma
Jennifer
Hayek
Connelly
too.
has not aged quite as well. She's still a very very attractive woman, but she is not age defined the way those others are.
She was a highlight of
Catherine Zeta-Jones and Selma Hayek. Like
does Catherine Zeta-Jones still act? I mean, isn't she raising Michael Douglas's kid? Like Michael Douglas's 10th, 15th kid? She's like his fourth, fifth wife or something.
Who knows? It doesn't matter. We're talking about hotness here.
But I don't think she's been anything, right?
I'm just saying that the two of them have, like, you look at pictures of them like 40 years ago and now, and you're like, this is the same person. She's a Highlander, right? And then you have Jennifer Connelly, who has clearly aged, but she's aged very well, right? And there's a difference. That's all I'm saying. There's a difference.
All right. Well, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with you.
Good. You should.
Because you shouldn't. Yeah, whatever. Shut up.
Anyway, back to Wheel of Prime being canceled, and there was much rejoicing. Is good news for everyone.
So I got a question for you now. Like is the work over? Is the work finished? Is the work never finished? Like, what's going to happen? I mean, I know you're not the White Cloak. You know. By the way, I heard you met. When I met up with Will, like it was a month or two ago. Showed me a picture. You guys met up. So, hey, I didn't know you guys met up. So, hey,
yeah.
Isn't he awesome in person? Like, he's awesome to hang out with. Like, that's the reason why I called you. I was like, hey, let's meet up. Was because I met up with him. It was a lot of fun. So that's the main reason why. Then I lost my job. So
I hadn't met him when we met.
I know. I know. This was you had a mustache. So you showed me the picture. You had a mustache. So. Yeah,
this is. I'm sure a terrible mustache that Tripp would have hated.
Yeah, you got the goose stash going. You got the goose stash, whatever. I don't know.
I had to shave everything off this last weekend, but
What'd you do? Would you have to go on duty or something?
Well, yeah. Anytime you gotta throw the uniform on, you gotta clean yourself up. It's funny because I forget. Do you? Sorry. Go ahead. I was gonna say my wife now supports keeping the stash, and you never had the stash. Well, yeah, because you had to go on duty. So is it like a regulation?
No, is it like a Marine regulation where you can't have facial hair?
In general, yeah, you can have a mustache in the Marines. It's just frowned upon.
It's frowned upon. Okay.
But she now supports the mustache. I think it's one of those things where, I told her, I was like, I'm not sure.
I never had a mustache. I've had a handlebar beard. When you met me, I think I still was sporting I had the goatee. The goatee without the mustache.
I think so. You had the Bale Doman.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, for the longest time I had the all from here. You should have met me when I was graduating from college. I had the full 1969, 1970 like mutton chops, and everybody like those pictures are still on. That was when I graduated college. So yeah, those pictures are still on Facebook. Those pictures are still on Facebook. So I still had some hair. I still had some hair back then. Now I'm completely I'm completely shaved. Like I scalp myself every 3 to 4 days now. So I've gotten good at it. I've gotten really good at it. Like I just have a feel for I don't even need the mirror. I can just like Walter White. I can just I can feel and just know where to shave now and everything. So.
Well,
and I save money. I save money every month, not getting like a haircut now. So,
well, if you'll believe it, I cut my own hair.
What do you get? Oh, you got you just what do you? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I had no idea.
I started doing it when his hairline's
receding. By the way.
It's not a secret. It's but anyway, started when I was going through basic, and it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, if you you have a period in your career where you're in a situation where bad haircuts doesn't matter. You have to have a fresh haircut. It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be fresh, right? And so you figure out how to, like, looking at a mirror, I hold a mirror back like this, got the clippers, go through here, follow up with scissors to like get any little stragglers, and it's one of the, in the Marine Corps, you had to have a fresh haircut every week. And so you're spending like 10, 15 nowadays, $20 on a haircut.
So define a fresh haircut. Like what exactly is a fresh haircut? So is it just like,
I mean, about like this, like it's gotta be, so
do you have to have like nothing on the sides or something like that? You have to like, and then you just have like a little, what do they call it on the top? The
hair?
Crop? Is it crop?
I know this is a foreign concept for you over there. Yeah. What is the stuff on the top of the head? What is that?
I've been doing like, once I was like 27 or 28, that's really when my bangs just like left me completely. And so I started cutting my hair really short. And now I just shave it off. I go full, I go full. No, I don't know. I would say Mr. Clean, but I'm not ripped enough for that. I'll say Michael Chiklis and embarrass myself. So.
Hey, like which Michael Chiklis are we talking about? Like the Shield? Like what are we?
Yeah, the Shield. Well, the Shield. If I lose a little bit more weight, I could probably go with that. But the Shield. I still have not watched it yet though. So
what?
There's a lot of shows. I've been very slow with consuming stuff. Like I just, if I'm watching something or if I'm reading something, I generally fall asleep now. So I mean, I've been on chapter 5 of Path of Daggers for like the last week and a half maybe. So I know you really like it. What's funny was I was surprised how much I liked A Crown of Swords. That's kind of why I showed the opening, because you and I didn't have a chance to talk about Crown of Swords yet. So last Chilporial we talked about Lord of Chaos, because you can't make the book club streams because, well, after we did Dragon Reborn, your life changed. Well, actually, what's funny is after Dragon Reborn, after you and I met up, your life drastically changed. You started working overseas. You had a kid and all that. So, by the way, I saw one of the latest pictures or videos on the Band of the Red Hand. Kid does not look like he's 1 year old. He looks like he's like 4 or 5. He's probably gonna be taller than me by the time he's 11. So he's. I'm not short. And I'm not a short dude.
It's funny. I mean, he looks so grown up. He's got like a full mouth. He's got a full mouth full of teeth.
Really?
Yeah. He's got the four middle, top and bottom. He's got a molar top and bottom on each side. Yeah. And he's got 4 canines that are all coming in that have already like come through the skin and are coming in. Yeah. So he's got like another set of molars to add, and that's it. That'll be all the baby teeth.
Wow.
So he's not even 1.5 years yet, and he's got a mouthful of teeth. And because my wife accidentally cut his hair way too short, and so she had to take him to a barber to like clean it up, the rest of it. So now he's got like he doesn't have like the baby haircut anymore of like the, like moms let the baby hair grow out a long time because they like, oh, it's so cute. And, so he's got kind of like a boy cut, like the shorter kind of, cut on the sides and kind of shorter on the top, and so other than the fact that he's just still just so fat because he's just a giant baby. So he's got the super full cheeks of a baby.
What does he weigh now? Like 40 pounds?
he's like he's probably 36, maybe more than 36 pounds. But
all right, well,
anyway,
by the time I was 2, at least that's when my parents told me I was 40. I was like 41 pounds by the time I was 2. So
that's
yeah,
pretty good sized.
Yeah, I was a big baby. I wasn't short, but I was one of the when I growing up, I was one of the tallest in was one of the tallest in my class, and then 7th grade hit, and then all changed. 7th and 8th grade hit, and then it all changed. So but yeah, man, I mean, I met you, I met Mrs. Pips. The kid's gonna be a giant. That's my prediction. That's my prediction. So here's to nerd right here.
Anyway, so he looks real old until you kind of see his face a little bit, and then you realize it's a baby's face.
Yeah,
or it's like a baby's cheeks on like a 2 or a 3-year-old. It's very But,
yeah. I mean, just I'm happy. I'm happy for you guys. I'm just hoping everything, family wise, just stays great and all that. So, because I know, I mean, I'm not married, but it's a lot of work. It's insane amount of work, and all my friends are. What's funny is I'm the one. I'm not friends with other single people. I'm friends with all my friends are married. All of my friends are either married with kids and all that. It's weird. It's weird that I connect more with married people than I connect with other single people. So, but reason why I'm single is a very, very long story, and a lot of it stems from awkwardness, learning disabilities, stuff like that. It's stuff that I'm still dealing with even at my age right now. So, just to kind of veer off this subject, Andor, I hate you. I hate you for bullying me into watching Andor. I hate the fact that
what part do you hate? What part do you hate more? The fact that I made you watch it, or the fact that you like it? Which part do you hate more?
The fact that you made me watch it. So not only did I went into season 1 with, you said this yourself. You can deny it all you want, but you said this was the best thing since Empire, and I believed you. I
actually maintain that, but that's a low bar.
I don't agree with that at all. But I watched it the first time. I was like, okay, I'm not seeing what he liked about it. Then I watched it a second time to prepare for my stream with Dred Roberts, another friend of mine, and he liked it too. He liked it for the same reasons you did. And I watched it again. And I started to see where I may have been where my ideas or my views might have been misplaced. So, and then season 2, everybody was talking about it on X. I was reading stuff like this is the best thing ever. I don't agree with it being the best thing ever, but it's better than anything that's out now. And I'm really enjoying season 2 right now. I'm almost done with the season. I'm already done with I'm only 2 episodes left. I started on Friday. I watched the first arc. I watched 1 episode yesterday because I went out. Mm-hmm. And today I just binged it. Holy crap, dude. Like totally. Well, I mean, if I like it, you're definitely going to like it. So yeah, I mean, I have to ask you, you're 5 episodes in. Mm-hmm. Are you enjoying it or am I crazy?
No. I'm enjoying it. I think so before I get too far into this, Dave was saying about watching season 1 beforehand. I think you should. If you have the time,
you can if you want to.
It's not necessary.
So,
but I think I did find myself at a couple times being like, who is this person again? And,
so here's the issue that I had with season 1. I didn't know who any of the characters were. They never said their names. This season they actually do. Mm-hmm. I remembered Cyril's name for the first time. I remembered Clea's name for the first time. I mean, I knew Luthen, but I knew Luthen. I knew Luthen because of let's just say the best moment from the last season was the end of episode 10. In my opinion, I thought it was best acted, and I thought it was really. I actually really enjoyed him talking about him and Lonnie talking about being trapped in their roles and all that. So
that was good.
That was a great moment. Like I was like episode 10 was like really good, and then I watched the last 2 and I was like, I don't like this.
So
I know you disagree with me on that, but
either way, like before watching it, I had talked to my brother, and he had said he's seen the whole season, and he said, I wish that I had rewatched season 1 before watching it. And when I started watching it, I could see how I wish that I had watched it more recently as well. I think it would make you just be a little bit sharper on following it. It's not necessary, but I think if you have the time, plus season 1 is good in my opinion. So you should rewatch.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not the best.
I'll disagree with Aldan though, to an extent here. I haven't finished season 2. I'm only episode 5. So I guess I can't definitively say that you're wrong, but I will say that Andor making Rogue One from an okay
a lot
movie,
a lot of people say it elevates Rogue One. I haven't gone as far. I haven't gone that far to make a determination on that, but
my disagreement is mostly going to be that Rogue One wasn't an okay movie before to be elevated to a good movie. It was kind of a bad movie that could maybe be elevated.
I actually like the last act of. I like the last act of Rogue One. I like the battle at Scarif. The battle at Scarif was pretty good.
My issue with Rogue One is that it was an okay movie, and
it was boring. It was boring. I remember. Yeah.
Stapled together in like a weird Siamese twin situation.
2 movies?
And
what do you mean?
Yeah. It was basically 2 stories, 2 sort of plots, right? They're 2 sort of distinct movies that I think it's
I'm not following you.
There is a very clearly first act and second act,
right?
Right, and there's sort of there's kind of a main thematic one, and then it sort of shifts, right? They needed to cut probably 75% of the like first act nonsense and the lines that it sets up in the second act. They should have cut that movie 30 minutes shorter, and it would have been a much better movie. There's a bunch of like forced dialogue that's like pretty clunky and not great. That's not what I'm talking about. But like the whole Saw Gerrera thing.
Yeah, that was. I agree with you on that. That was retarded. Like Saw Gerrera letting himself die. I'm like,
the whole like
share the dream. Mark Gullett, share the dream. Why do I talk like this? I don't know. I believe stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought. I mean, I think Forrest Whitaker's a great actor. But I don't know. Like, when I think Saw Gerrera, I think the Clone Wars, the Onderon. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you have you even watched the Clone Wars animated show?
I don't think I've watched the entirety of Clone Wars.
Season 5, they introduced Saw Gerrera. They introduced an Onderon arc, a 4-episode arc, and that's how they introduced Saw Gerrera. So he was like the brother of the girl that was like the leader of the resistance against not the clones, the separatists or whatever you call them. And I haven't watched Clone Wars in a while. But yeah, that's how they introduced them. And they really just like they love this character so much. Like Disney Star Wars really loves this character. Like they had him in Rogue One, they had him in season 2.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like the whole Saw Gerrera thing in this season was just very, I thought it was, I don't know, I can't really describe it. It was him and that Willman character, the young guy that blows up the Empire. He builds a bomb at the end of season 1, blows them up and all that. And they have him like, I don't know how far, I don't know if you got that far.
He
breathes the diamond gas or whatever this gas is called.
Yes.
I'm like, what is this? It's supposed to be like an initiation thing or something. I don't know. I didn't really rewatch it, but I was just like, what's going on? I'm just like,
that's the part that I'm at in season 2. And,
okay. episode 8 is the episode that everybody talks about. So be ready for it. I watched episode 8. I was like, whoa, like this is what I felt the finale should have been in a way.
So I mean, I've enjoyed it.
Of season 1.
I've enjoyed it so far. So if episode 8 is like great, then I'm looking forward to
this like this season does stuff that no other show does nowadays. You know what that is? You know how like there's always like there's always a solid. I mean, not always, but every once in a while there's a good show that has a solid first season, but then when you get to season 2, it falls apart. Like you go as far as Westworld, you go as far as most modern shows. Andor actually, in my opinion, has a better season 2 is better than season 1, and that's a rarity now in shows.
And it's over,
especially.
And it's over. No season 3.
So originally they were supposed to do 5 seasons, I think, from what I remember, and each arc was supposed to be a season. So the whole, every year was supposed to be a season.
I'm really glad.
I'm curious. Like, so a certain planet already sets up a certain base. I'm not going to say what planet it is, but you've already been to that planet in your watch. But we don't really see how it establishes. I'm wondering if that was originally part of what they had in mind for each individual season, because there's a lot of things that happen off screen. There's a lot of things that happen off screen that I think was originally intended to be part of the season. Part of the individual season.
I like things happening off screen. I think that it introduces the fact that like it adds. I would say it
adds an authenticity. It adds like, things did happen.
So it adds authenticity
in the meantime. But it's not just like they don't not exist outside of us watching them. So,
but it also adds stakes and tension, right? Because when you have
mystery too, right? When mystery, you're like, you want to learn like what happened here,
Yeah, but when you're like, you're against the clock, and this is like the Fast and Furious, like, world's longest runway problem, right? That when they show you like every point of view of the thing, it multiplies the amount of time. So they show you, hey, there's 5 minutes on this bomb going off. And then it shows like 30 seconds from this guy's point of view. And then it shows the same 30 seconds from another point of view. And then the same 30 seconds from another point of view. And at the end of it, a 5-minute clock took 25 minutes of screen time, and that slows the process down and reduces that tension and gets rid of the time crunch. And so by having some things happen with you just seeing the effects and having to kind of like catch up to them a little bit, you actually, as the audience, you have the personal experience of the rush of overtaking events, right? I'm sort of reminded of one of the things that I like about the Wheel of Time, in that I actually like how long the book series is, because one of the things that you gain from the book series being as long as it is, how long it takes you to read, is that you get a level of intimacy and knowledge of these characters, because you almost feel like you're like day by day with them. The whole series takes a couple of years of like time. And for like the average person reading these books, if you like sit there and you kind of like, you just really sit down and read them, most people probably take more than a year to finish this series. And if you read the books as they were coming out, you took several years. For a lot of people where you kind of picked them up, halfway through or later in the series, you probably took 5 or 10 years to maybe finish it. So you have like years of your life where you're experiencing years of their lives, right? And I think that's like there's just something about the reader's experience. And I think that you get that in the TV show experience when the events are overtaking you as the audience. You get that same kind of, I don't know what to describe it as, it's synergy.
I don't feel the same way. I don't feel the same way about the Wheel of Time, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's because you're a hater and you have bad taste. We've already established this. You have me
Well,
as a fan.
I don't know. I just feel like a lot of the stuff. I mean, I feel like there could have been room for more interesting things to learn about the world. I think more interesting world building could have been a thing, more lore, more history. Honestly, I feel I know these. I feel like I already know too much about the characters to the point where I don't really care anymore. Like I am struggling to get through chapter 5 of Path of Daggers, which is the one where they use the bowl to
Well, you know
cure
what?
the world, cure the world of its what do you call it? What we call it again? What we call in the real world the climate change.
And the stream is now hyper monetized and
So I mean,
yeah,
I like it when
it's-
I'm challenged. I like it when beliefs are challenged. I like it when characters go through things where they have to like make a decision and all that. A lot of the chapters are just like it's just like very. And I know you like this in particular, but I read it and I'm just like I don't really care. I just don't really care.
and
And
this is
it's
why
stuff
I call you.
it's stuff I can easily skim. I could cut it out and it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't really change the story for me. I wouldn't really miss it, unfortunately.
And this is why I call you a dipshit from Chicago. And you have me on your show,
And I don't.
Which
I mean, I think there are days where Robert Jordan's just like, I'm just going to write, and he just writes, and that's what he did, and that's what he did.
It's the best part of the series.
So yeah, I mean, so.
Anyone who just wants proof, you have me on your show, which means you have bad taste. And
yeah, so, but yeah, I'm not. I mean, even with my complaints, if you ever see me like on social media and everything, I defend the books quite a bit, especially when people cut them down or say the show, or especially when they say the show is better. I'm like, dude, you want to read if you like Lord of the Rings, if you like the movies, you like Lord of the Rings films, if you like the Lord of the Rings books, you're gonna like the Wheel of Time. And I do nothing but tell people to read the books and everything. So, I mean, my complaints aside, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry and I hate to say it, but the reason why I haven't read as much is because Wheel of Time kind of killed my interest in reading it in a way. I
think
so. My goal is still to finish the series by the end of the year, and I'm planning on getting through the slog, and yes, it is a slog. I'm gonna get through the slog by fall. So by I plan to finish Crossroads of Twilight by August or sometime in August, right before September. And then September comes in, I hopefully get through Knife of Dreams and the Sanderson books before that. So yeah, this is where you and I are going to disagree, and you could forever call me names and mean words because yeah, I mean, you're better you're better at mean words than I am. I'm not very good at it. So
that's how I do it. I'm just the meanest.
But no, I mean, other than that, the Wheel of Time is a great series. Like, despite my complaints and all that, there's a lot of really strong moments. There's some really great dialogue. There's some really great life lessons to learn. That, I mean, and the series has affected me. I mean, the series has affected me. Like there are things that Robert Jordan's written that I still I've maintained. I've kept with me since. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's perfect. It's 14 books. I think it could have been compressed a little bit further. I know you would totally disagree with me on that, but that's what I think.
I don't disagree with you. I am.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Robert Jordan, PIPS is like the Robert Jordan can do no wrong. He's best author ever. I know Wheel of Time's your favorite book series ever. So yeah,
I'm sympathetic with the
No, you can make fun of me all you want. I mean, that's the point. And plus, I've had too much to drink, so I think making fun of me would be would make for a fun time.
Salty is here saying Brian needs more to drink, and that is probably
yes, I've had. Let's see how much I've had so far. You see the top. You see
it's thanks Salty, and you don't know that I'm not. I could be glowing over here, you never know.
but like I said, I actually really liked Crown of Swords. Like there were parts that were slow, like the Egwene stuff, the 4 chapters of Egwene, you know, like them just saying, oh, we can't tell everybody that Rand is joined the White Towers, because you know this was right on the cuffs of Lord of Chaos. But I really liked how I liked Matt's confrontation with the Golem. The Golem was basically, to me, the Golem was the T-1000.
Yeah.
So I was expecting the Golem. So when I envisioned the Golem when I was reading it, the Golem was basically an evil Matt, but with a grin, with a constant grin, like a creepy constant grin. And no matter what happened, he couldn't hit him with his weapon. And I thought that was great. Like, I like it when the characters are, they're like, the thing, and the issue I have with Wheel of Time is how overpowered I feel the characters are. I feel there needs to be a build. You need to build. I feel there needs to be more build for the character. For our protagonists. I'm not a fan of the overpowered right away type of deal. That's one of my issues with Wheel of Time.
All right. Yeah, I got it. You hate Wheel of Time, got it.
No. I hate the Wheel. I hate the Wheel of Time. But that moment, but that fight with the Golem at the end of Crown of Swords, where Matt, was struggling, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
To talk about your point about the Golem there, how shitty would a Rafe Judkins Wheel of Crime Golem have been?
I have no idea. He would have copied Terminator 2. The Golem would have been Robert Patrick, man Robert Patrick, running really fast. I
mean, think about how stupid the Gray Men were.
because they were actually gray. Because they were actually gray. Like the Gray Men are supposed to be. The Gray Men are supposed to be normal.
Do you want to be gray?
They're supposed to be normal people. The key word when you so leave it to Robert. So like despite my bitching and complaining and everything about the Wheel of Time, leave it to Robert Jordan to make you on the edge of your seat when you see the word ordinary. This person looks ordinary. Might be a gray man. I mean that's leave it to Robert Jordan to make the idea of an ordinary looking person terrifying. And the Gray Men, in my opinion, got elevated in the Shadow Rising when they were able to kill Aiel. So Aiel were like one of my issues with Wheel of Time is I feel the Aiel devolved. Like the Aiel were supposed to be the super really good, like they're really this really shrewd, really like this warrior race that was really shrewd that could like they could take land, they could take land for his money and all that. And I loved, the moments in Dragon Reborn with Dance with Us Shadow Man. They were fearless. I loved that moment. And then the Shadow Rising came, and I didn't like the Aiel as much. That's my issue with the Shadow Rising. I did like the Glass Columns. I thought the Glass Columns was great world building, and I liked the chapter before. I liked the chapter after that. Not the chapter after that. The He Who Comes with the Dawn. I that was a page turner. That was one of the few chapters, Robert Jordan chapters, that was a complete page turner for me. I was reading it like I was reading Song of Ice and Fire. It's like, oh crap, this is really good stuff. I'm really interested. I'm really invested in this. So. But then the story kind of slowed itself down, and I didn't like the Shadow Rising as much as I wished I liked it. I thought the Eye of the World, the Dragon Reborn, and the Great Hunt were good from start to finish, in my opinion. I know you disagree with me on it, and that's fine because I know you love the Shadow Rising. I was like, isn't it your favorite book? I know I'm drinking too much. Yeah, it is. Yeah. You said what's your favorite? That and the Great Hunt were your favorite books. Eye of the World too. Or were you telling me that?
You remember me telling you all the books are my favorite
Dude,
books.
you tell me so many things and then you change your opinion. But then again, I changed my opinion too. So I am no different from Pips. Well, actually, I'm totally different from Pips, but I do the same thing. So I'm no better.
I think I've generally said that my favorite book of the Wheel of Time is whichever one I'm reading right now, except for Crossroads.
Yeah, I don't believe that. When Robert Jordan says, the best book that he writes, I can believe that. But when you say that with reading, I bullshit. I don't believe you.
No,
I mean, I know you're trying to, I know you're trying to say that, but
no, every time I reread,
I don't believe you.
I'm reading and I catch new stuff, and it's just it's very enjoyable, Isn't
that why you said like not you, everybody said like the reread is the best. I don't think I'm ever going to reread it though. I might reread chapters I really enjoyed, but I don't think I'll ever fully reread it. I think if I reread, I'm going to shoot myself in the face or something. Yeah, there's a lot of chapters I just don't like.
Yeah,
I feel I can skip.
Drunk Poriel comes out and is very negative, but I think you have a super chat that you need to if I were running your stream,
apparently you are, because you're reading the chat, you're changing the subject on me, so that's why I moved you to the left so that I can fully represent. And I don't think I've read any of these chats. Sorry,
you
guys.
have
not. All right, so we have a super chat here. Salty Travelcy for $5 here. Money and donuts. Well, I'm not the donut guy. That's Prophet of the Dragon. That's Steve. I did go to Dunkin' Donuts. I had a sausage and croissant sandwich, and bad idea for me. We didn't make dinner. I'm gonna be grilling tomorrow, so that's kind of why. So yeah, dumb thing. All right, what does Trips have to say here? She actually said my name. The Wheel of Time is too long. Also, the Wheel of Time needs more build up and be longer to get to where the characters are. OP. Trip, I hate you. I hate when you making me bleed my own blood here. Come on, stop doing that. Stop doing that. But I mean, but honestly, I didn't think I would like a Crown of Swords as much as I did. So I don't know.
I wish I had.
But then again, I had to lower my expectations to here, to all the way down here. So, I mean, well, I had to if I wanted to enjoy it to a degree.
You know what? I think you might in the future for a potential reread, you might like to do
with quotes.
what some other people have done, where they did a character read, right? So they read all of the Matt chapters, or they read all of the Rand chapters. I've never done that myself, but I actually think I might try that the next time I go through, because
Matt was the saving grace for me for Crown of Swords, because it definitely wasn't the Supergirls for that. That's for sure. I mean, I liked how Egwene started, but then it just got to the point. I like, she freaked out that the Forsaken, Maggedian escapes and all that, but that was it. I mean, I really want to see. I want to see, the bad guys, be bad. And that's kind of, I mean, it's weird that those chapters are my favorite, but that's where I'm at.
I mean, one of the things
I swear Martin makes more evil characters than Jordan does, and these are supposed to be the most evil characters on the planet.
Well, one of the things that is true about the Forsaken is that they're not necessarily that evil. I mean, they are, but they're just really petty. They're really petty and sad, right? They're just vain and kind of contemptible.
I feel we didn't really get to see what they're capable of. And that's an issue I have. I wanted to see how bad they can be.
And I think that So there's two different ideas, right? There's two different ideas where one of them is the idea, and Martin, because he likes to have dark stories, he makes the bad guys very strong, right? And then there's the other view that, like,
well, not just strong, but like when they enter a scene, you're like, what the hell's going to happen? Like you as the viewer, you as the reader are like, oh my gosh, that's kind of what I want. I mean, I want a villain to enter a scene. I want to be worried. I want to care more about our characters. The thing is, I'm more worried about the villains. That's my issue with the Wheel of Time. I'm more worried about the villains. I'm more worried about them. That's a problem.
Too much more about
that is an issue I have with the Wheel of Time.
Before we fight too much more about this,
but before you even say anything, I want to read the super chat. Sorry. Thank God it's over, nerd man. Just remember, this is my absolute opinion that you will love the last 3, maybe the last 4, and you've gone too far to stop now. That's true. I mean, I'm really curious how the series ends. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, though, because I know more than I should, but we'll see how it all plays out. You know what I think the perfect, Pips, you know what I think the perfect ending? I think Lord of the Rings had the perfect conclusion. I liked how it ended. I like how the story itself ended, but it still kept going until we got a final conclusion. That to me is the perfect conclusion. I know Wheel of Time doesn't end that way. So I'll have to read it to find out for myself. So I'm not going to make any judgments right now, but we'll see. But sleep through the slog. It's okay. Yeah. I mean, I figured the slog is going to be setting up a lot of stuff that's going to lead into the final, the final act and all that. So, and we got, oh my gosh, we got Al Dan sent me $40 Australian dollars. So I think Australian is the weaker dollar, but whatever. I've had too much to drink. Thank God it's over. Wait, did I read this? Wait.
No, he sent it twice. That's why I was going to joke and say,
you
better read this.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Dude, I hope he didn't. Oh, man. I'll have to reimburse you some way. Can I read? I'll think so.
I think it's possible to reimburse. I don't know.
El Dan, yeah, I don't want. That's oh man. I think I might have done that once or twice myself.
I think you need to read it a second time. I mean,
I'll let you read it. I'll let you read it, and Pips, I'll let you read it this time.
All right, just because it's Aldan and Drunk Poriel, needs some assistance. He's struggling over there. So he says, "Thank God it's over, Nerd Man. Just remember that it is my absolute opinion that you will love the last 3, maybe last 4, and you've gone too far to stop now. Sleep through the slog. It's okay." I disagree. You shouldn't sleep through the slog. The slog is good. Realistically, the slog doesn't exist. That's lesson 1. There's no such thing as the slog.
Oh no, the slog does exist. I mean, I read Crown of Swords. That's a slog.
No.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely not.
Totally is. The story slows to a crawl.
Nope.
A crawl, Pips. Yes, it's a slog.
That's not. Nope.
Yes,
Crown of Swords. Crown of Swords is a good book. Path of Daggers is a good book.
I like Crown of Swords, but it is slow. Like it barely gets past anything. Especially the parent stuff. The opening parents. What 6 chapters? 6 or 7 chapters. All to build up to the evil Lady Colivere. Remember Lady Colivere? Remember how evil she was? Not really. She got her hair pulled by Avienda in the fires of heaven. She got pulled and dragged away screaming. So I don't think she's a big villain. But but Perrin was worried about his wife. So for several chapters. So yeah, it's a slog. It's very slow. And Path of Daggers is the same thing. Sorry.
We're just gonna have, it's your channel, I'm just gonna say I agree.
The story has slowed to a crawl. It is a slog. Just because I mean, it's not about it's not about the length or the the time it came out. It's the pacing of the story, in my opinion. That's why I call it a slog.
But like Tripp said, it needs to be faster, but there also needs to be more lore and history and development.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's the stuff that interests me. A Song of Ice and Fire was able to do it. That's why Storm of Swords from start to finish was a great book, and it was 1,000 pages, dude. It was 1,000 pages, and I was expecting that of the Shadow Rising, and the Shadow Rising, the Shadow Rising. I mean, there were great chapters. I mean, you had the Stone Stands, you had you had the chapters 25 and 26. The glass columns, great stuff. I wanted more of the glass columns. You had the He Who Comes with the Dawn. You had the parent stuff. I mean, I liked the parent stuff for the most part. The parent stuff, I felt the stakes were high. I felt that parent wasn't overpowered. He was wounded. What I loved was the fact that he had to be a leader from behind the lines, because he was wounded. He couldn't just fight in the front anymore. He had to direct things from behind the scenes. And I love that development. And then but the thing with the White Cloaks, I'm not sure the White Cloaks needed to be in the story. I mean, I was looking forward to the White Cloaks, them working with the White Cloaks to fight the Trollocs, to fight a greater threat, and I didn't get that. That was my issue with the Shadow Rising.
I'm going to need the chat's advice here. I got invited under false pretenses. We were supposed to talk about Wheel of Crime getting canceled. We were supposed to talk about Andor, and now I'm getting Nerdporial's, or should I say Drunkporial's, manifesto on everything wrong with the Shadow Rising.
Well, the Shadow Rising, I like the Shadow Rising for the most part. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was bad at all. There was a lot of great chapters. I thought parent stuff was great, except I was disappointed in how the White Cloaks played out. That's true.
Yeah, exactly, Tech-Max.
And you're
being ambushed.
Yeah, whatever. I like how Tripp says I'm an unreliable narrator. I remember the story really well, probably better than most people.
He referred to himself as Drunkporial, everyone. He referred to himself as Drunkporial.
Did you say something? I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
Drunkporial confirmed.
Oh wait, I missed the here we go. Wait. Here we go.
He forgot how his cork works, guys. Drunkporial is
how
real.
Dare you? No, how dare you? How dare you say that? But honestly, though, but no, the Shadow Rising was a great book. Like there's a lot of great stuff in it. So like I'm just more critical of it than most people are.
All right. Well, let's talk more about Andor, because I can only take so much of you talking about how shit Wheel of Time before I'm just gonna have to end our friendship.
I mean, like I said, I loved the first 3 books, and I personally feel that the first 3 books is the reason why the Wheel of Time sold as much as it did. I mean, they're really good books. I mean, and there's a lot of great stuff in the Shadow Rising too. So I'm with you guys on all that stuff. I'm better than I didn't say exactly that. I just said I probably remember the story beats better than most people. So
you again referred to yourself as Drunkporial there. You recognize that a statement attributed to Drunkporial was attributed to you. That's interesting. It's interesting.
Did you say something, Pips? I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that, and I didn't experience that.
Which Josh Templeton there, the White Cloak celebration stream. Yep, I did not get to participate in. I was I had family obligations this weekend, but I'm glad that you were there and everybody else was there to have a good time. That it needed to be celebrated. So
you're talking in the chat again, Pips. I don't know why you do that. Yeah, that's why I have you on the left side. That's why I have you on the left side of this whole thing. So, but no, that's fine. No, I mean. No, I'm willing to, to, yeah, I like with Andor, for instance, I'm willing to kind of get past my own preconceptions of things and kind of, start to see what other people
Yeah,
seeing it. So
it just took season 2 of Andor. So
no. I rewatched season 1. You and I had you had a very, very lengthy discussion online. So on I don't know if it was Discord or texting or something. Yeah, you're you're more passionate about Andor than you come off as. He totally is, by the way. But I rewatched Andor, and the thing that I took away from it the most was like just the impact. So when people say it's the best written, it's true. It is the best written when it comes to Disney Star Wars. Every time there's an action sequence, you're concerned with what happens to the characters because there's a lot of impact. I mean, you spend a lot of time with the characters to the point where there's an impact when a character gets killed, and characters get killed quite a bit in Andor season 1 and season 2. So every arc in season 2 has had a body count, even the first arc, which is what everyone considers the weakest. And here's the other thing. Here's the other reason why I watched it. If Steve says that the show is good, it's gonna be good, because I think he's better than any of us when it comes to discerning whether or not a show is good or not. So I mean, you guys watch. I mean, you watch him enough. So yeah, I've had too much drink. But yeah, there's a lot of impact when there's an action sequence in Andor. There's a lot of impact, and I've come to kind of learn that from my rewatch of season 1. So, and Pips, I hate you for making me face the fact that I might have been totally wrong in my initial assessment of Andor. So I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. But yeah.
Well,
I hate Pips and I love him at the same time.
I just want to say,
does that make me gay? Who knows?
I just want to say that I mean, I see the point you're making. For me, the reason that I like the writing in Andor is,
well, it reminds me of old HBO shows, for starters. Like every scene has importance. Like it builds up to something that's going to happen later. That's going to happen.
Yeah, later. I can see where you're going to, but I think the character element was what I was going to say, where all of the characters are they're given enough time to breathe, right? Like you really get to know the individual characters as characters.
Well, I think season 2 more so than season 1, but yeah.
I think even in season 1, but yeah, season 2 has even improved on this.
Season 1, I didn't even know their freaking names.
I'll agree.
Season 2 actually, you were actually more, I feel, more connected with characters in season 2, and that's why everyone
let me finish my point.
No, you don't get to finish your point. I'm just saying, like, the reason why people really came out with saying season 2 was good is because of just that reason. Like you have a more intimate understanding of the characters. Like I know what the character's name is. Like Cyril Karn, I didn't know his name in season 1. I just knew him as the guy that wanted to go after Andor because he was because he killed a bad cop or something. So yeah. Whereas in this season, well, you haven't gone to episode 8 yet. Watch episode 8. We have to actually talk about episode 8. So episode 8 was pretty I mean, one thing I've learned from Will or Alex, if you know him as Alex, you know him as Alex. It's wild. And it really slaps. I learned a lot of slang from him. Yeah. So. Oh, hey, don't laugh at me. I can't help it. I'm old. So, but it's very. I don't remember what I'm talking about. Sorry, dude. Keep talking.
I don't know what you're talking about. All I was saying was that the the characters are given enough space, and a lot of people would describe this like, oh, it's so slow and all this stuff, right? But I think that those slow scenes,
reminds me of a certain Wheel of Time, doesn't it?
But honestly, again,
doesn't it remind me of Wheel of Time
for the same
Robert
Jordan's
writing.
For the same purpose, I think that's good. That like there is an element of realism and sort of emotional or sort of just the attachment that you get that can't be simulated or gotten through other means. That, like, for example, a long kind of lingering shot between two characters who are in tension with each other, right? How that creates tension between the two characters.
What do you think in particular?
What I'm just saying, I'm using that as an example, right? So the literal length in seconds of that shot is a thing that builds the experience tension for the audience that can't be done through something that takes less time.
I'm trying to understand what you're talking about. You gotta be more specific.
So when you got the two cowboys in the Western who are facing down at noon, and it shows the eyes, and it goes back and forth between them, and it's got the music, and it's showing the face and the long shot.
Speaking of eyes, right here.
There you go. But you get my point, right? Where it does these lingering shots of like kind of the landscape, and the tumbleweed rolls past, and you have the music, and they're facing off, and there's the tension is building and building and building, and you're waiting for one to draw, right? And as the audience, you are sitting there experiencing the time passing, and that is the thing that is building the tension, and you're feeling it with the characters, right? So you see the characters in the show, the sort of bystanders who are also watching. They're peeking around the door of the saloon. They're doing whatever, and you feel like you are there experiencing the scene and its accompanying tension. And you can't simulate that through any other way. It has to be that long shot, right? And so many shows these days, so many stories are built for this modern attention span. And so they get rid of that thing that used to be real in storytelling, which is like making you kind of stew in the juices of the story for a while.
Yeah, that's kind of why I like Kubrick more than most people do. Because Kubrick will make you stew quite a bit. If you've seen Barry Lyndon, if you've seen 2001, or if you've seen Sergio Leone, for instance, this is what kept me from going nuts on my flight to Japan.
Nice.
Watching this movie, Once Upon a Time in the West.
Oh, shoot.
I think you will love this movie. You will love this movie. In my opinion.
I have seen it a long time ago. Yeah.
This is a good one. Like this kept
maybe
me.
I need to watch it again. I did go through and do kind of a kick of watching some westerns about last year. I went and watched. You ever see the Good,
the Bad, and the Ugly?
Yeah, I went and watched all the Dollars. I watched the Dollars trilogies. I watched The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. I watched Tombstone. I watched a bunch of old westerns.
Tombstone's not old. That came out in the 90s.
That is fair. Tombstone's not old, but
old is older than us.
Yeah,
we're millennials.
But Tombstone is a great western.
It is. But if you like Wyatt Earp, what's funny is there was a Star Trek episode, original series about.
We're not doing Star Trek.
We totally are.
Star Trek. No,
there was a Star Trek episode where Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Dr. McCoy, Scotty, and Chekhov were the Clanton gang. They were the Clanton gang, and the whole episode was how are they going to get through the fact that they are the Clanton gang by this alien, by this floating head alien that forces them to experience an incomplete Western. So they used Western sets. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. There was a original Star Trek, 1968. This was third season. This was the bad season, but it was for a bad season, it was I liked that season. I mean, but then again, I'm you know me, you know how I feel about Star Trek. But there was an episode where there were Captain Kirk and our main characters were the Clanton gang versus the Earps, Wyatt Earp, Morgan Earp, Virgil Earp. They were the bad guys. We were like, how are they going to get past this this fiction and all that? So,
Chad, is he
done? The episode's called Spectre of the Gun. It was the first episode of season 3. PIPS knows I'm correct because when it comes to the original Star Trek, when it comes to the original Star Trek, he knows I'm correct. Like whenever it comes to Wheel of Time, I know Pips is likely going to be more correct than I am. So, but yeah. But
is it safe? Is it safe to turn the volume back on? Is he done talking about Star Trek?
Are you done talking about whatever? Oh wait. But no. There was literally an episode about that. There was an episode about that. So,
all right.
But what was the point? You were talking about Tombstone.
The point that I
like what was what's good
is that we haven't talked about your trip to Japan since you got back. And so
I bought this hand in Japan. Yeah, so by the way,
talk about Japan.
By the way, Japan's a really pricey, trip, but I would say, definitely take your son, maybe in the next year or two. Definitely take him to Super Nintendo Land. Like there were 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, I went to the Osaka one. The little kids, the kids were having fun, and it's you go into Super Nintendo Land, and you basically, I think you have to use your phone, but you can collect score. If you've ever played the original Super Mario Brothers, whenever you punch a brick or whenever you do anything, you beat a bad guy or something like that, you score points. You do the same thing in Super Nintendo Land. And I think a lot of people were bringing their really, their kids and all that. Their kids were having a lot of fun. Now I'm an old man. I'm kind of old. Young Brian would have loved Super Nintendo Land back in the day, but I think kids now would love Super Nintendo Land. So if you ever have a chance to go to Universal Studios in Orlando or Hollywood or something, you definitely take your son will love it. And so yeah, I think Mario is a great way to just get like great gateway into getting into video games. At least that's how I got into video games in the first place. But then again, I'm an old man. Like I played Mario since 1990. I was playing Mario. My parents got me the Nintendo in 1989. I started getting into the games in 1990, and I beat all 3 or 4 of the Mario games in 1990. So I was 5. I was 5 back then. So
see, I'm
I know you're not much of a gamer, but I'm saying just like your son will love Super Nintendo Land. It's not just the rides, but there's a lot of things to do. Like there's a lot of little challenges that you can earn points or score points or something like that. So you go inside and you get to do what do you call it? Like a virtual reality game or something like that. It's a lot of fun. It's like playing a video game almost.
Cool.
So, well, yeah. If I had my way, I would have a Metroid type of thing, like an Alien / Metroid type of story or game, but it's not nearly as popular as Mario or Zelda or anything else. So, but I think if you take your son, he'll love it.
Well, we'll who knows?
But that's in a few years, so you have enough time to save for that, and I don't know. And plus, whatever The thing is, I understand everybody. Pips is very. I mean, when he's here, when he's back stateside, he's got very limited time. So he has to make the most of it as much as he can. So you have to understand that about him. He sacrifices a lot more than, well, at least I give him credit for. So,
well, I think my wife is the one who, well, I guess actually she might look at it as she doesn't have to spend as much time with me. That might be a win, actually.
Well, that
I was gonna say she
that might, that might be, maybe that might be the case, but people have to understand, Pip sacrifices a lot. And you have to understand that about him, and you have to respect that about him. If you don't, I'm gonna kick your ass.
All right. Well, what was the rest of your trip like? Like I said, you sent.
Well,
you sent
I'll show you. So I got this little case for my Nintendo Switch. I got my case for this little case for my Nintendo Nintendo Switch games. My Nintendo Switch games. So I haven't played a lot of video games lately myself. So ever since games have changed, and like I like it when you start off as a way, you start off in a way, and then you build up over the course of the game. You get more abilities, you gain more abilities, which allows you to access more of what the game has in store for you. That's what I like.
RPGs.
We call that Metroidvania. Metroidvania is my favorite type of game series. So it's like a combination of Castlevania and Metroid.
Isn't that just an RPG?
No, it's not an RPG. RPGs are more. RPGs require statistics. You don't need statistics for games like Metroid, because Metroids are more like platform. Metroid is more like a platformer. So you go in, you explore the world, and the world is usually corridor based. It's not open world, and you find ability. You learn ability either by fighting a boss or by being very astute in your observations of what you remember to discover, basically. So what you remember in the map. So if you find an upgrade that allows you to basically explore more of the world, experience more of it, that's basically what a Metroidvania is. So it's like a maze, and it requires you to backtrack. So you have to remember. So if you learn a new ability, you have to backtrack to remember. Okay, what does this ability? What does it mean? Me learning this new ability, basically. And I like how you're covering your face right now. You're very, very impatient with me right now. But that's the type of game I like. I mean, the perfect game in my opinion is Super Metroid on Super Nintendo, because it requires you to backtrack. It requires you to remember things that you may have passed by, that you may have missed, or you may have passed by. That requires you to, like, okay, I passed by this. What does that mean? I got this new ability. I can double jump now. I can jump. I can not only jump, but I can jump twice as high. What does that mean? Is there another part of this world that requires me to do that? And it requires you to remember stuff. And for me, that's a great for me. I mean, that's my favorite type of video game, in my opinion.
I never played that game, so
you should. Super Metroid's a great game. I mean, it's basically it's a reimagining of the first Metroid game, but it's got a lot more what do you call it? Impact. I don't know. I you can say what you want. I'm going crazy right now.
I was just going to say that I get the point you're making. So you're not leveling up and getting new abilities. You're kind of
getting new abilities. You discover new abilities as you beat.
Yeah, but
you learn a grappling ability. You learn to double jump. You learn a new,
but
you have a new weapon that allows you to open a new type of door, a different color type of door,
as distinct from the RPG thing. So when you were
it
describing
doesn't.
first,
You don't level up.
said,
That's more Castlevania. So if you might need more of a Symphony of the Night type of person. That's more of an RPG than Metroid is. But it's to me it's the same type of game. They call it Metroidvania for a reason.
We got sidetracked off of your
I don't know what you mean by sidetracked. So, but I'll let you say what you want to say. Say what you want to say.
No, I mean, I just want to hear about all the shit that you did, man. Like you sent some pictures, you met some people, and
I mean, I met Gray for the first time at Wakizashi's tea house. If you don't know who that is, awesome guy. You might not be the tallest person I met now. He might be your height. You're 6'2", 6'3".
6'3".
So, are you sure? No, I'm kidding. He's about the same height. So you're not the tallest person I met anymore. So shame on you. But yeah, he's about the same. He's about the same height. I met a few other people. I met Ginger Ninja for the first time. I'll show you what Ginger Ninja made for me. So Ginger Ninja is an artist. I went to the Osaka Comic-Con because of the fact that he was going to be there. And I was gonna meet up with a bunch of people. It was my last day in Japan, so I was like, I need something to do. So I decided to do that. So I had him make me this. So I was like, make me. I was like, what should I make of an iconic scene? So this is the scene of Khan and Kirk. Khan gets up and he faces Kirk for a very split second. When he says, "I'm getting fatigued again," and they figure out who Khan is. Basically, they figure out he's a dictator from from Earth's past and the episode Space Seed. I was like, what? I want this picture, and this is a really good picture that Ginger Ninja made for me.
It's super well. It's very, very well done.
Yes. So I mean,
what is that? Is that colored pencil or?
Yes, I believe this is. So I forget what exactly I asked for. I had to pay extra for the second character, so he had to do it. So I want to do something. So my next thing that I want to do with him. Now this is something that wasn't done in the Wrath of Khan, because in the Wrath of Khan, assuming you watched the movie, I gave you. I did
watch the movie.
I gave you the 6 films. But I want to do something similar with Kirk from Wrath of Khan and Khan from Wrath of Khan, doing something similar, but instead of nothing being in the background, this time the Genesis device would be in the background, active, with there would be like a little shine somewhere on it, and it would either be in the SETI Alpha 5 headquarters where they first encounter Khan, or the regular one tunnel. It's one of those two things. So I still haven't made up my mind, but that's the follow-up I want to make to this. Now that never happened in the movie. Kirk and Khan never meet in the movie. They only talk to each other.
They only talk on the radio.
Via the view screen and all that. So, yeah, I hate you for correcting me, but, but yeah, oh my God, we had Azimoto here.
Yeah, I know. We had to
Azimoto of all people. So yeah, so I have to say something to Azimoto. So I know I said this many years ago. I have to apologize to Azimoto for snapping on the last time we had a White Cloak stream and I had too much to drink. So Azimoto's a good guy, and I was a jerk. I was a jerk to Azimoto. So programs, you're talking about PIPS. You're talking about PIPS right there. I'm not a program. I'm a person. My name is Brian. But honestly though, like, really, Shy, shut up, Shy. I'm trying to speak good about Azimoto right here. So
Ozzy's a great dude, and
I've heard
showing up.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Shut up takes another drink. Yep, Shy.
Isn't Shy like 12? Isn't Shy's like 12? So why should I listen?
That is true. I think canonically shy is something like 12. I think that's great.
But yeah, I'll show this once again. This is a really great. So the ginger the ginger ninja, James Harris is his name. He lives in Japan. So him, Gray, Wakizashi Seahouse, and Angry Canadian. So Angry Canadian is the one that really hosted me the entire time. So yeah, if you have anyone to follow Angry Canadian, he's my fellow Nintendo nerd. He makes fun of me all the time for being a boomer and everything. So Pips, I think you would love him. But yeah, but yeah, this is the thing that I got from Japan that I really love the most and everything. So, well, between that and well, Angry Canadian got me this Super Mario RPG's soundtrack. But then again, I grew up on Super Mario RPG, so.
Well, that and the hat, right?
Well, the hat I bought after the fact. So I had this. Where's my?
Which speaking
this is the hat I wore when I went to Japan. I showed you. I took a picture of myself. I sent to you guys, and yeah. So, but this is what I wore. The problem is I can't wear this with these headphones because I look like a crazy. Well, it's hard to wear a hat like this and then wear these headphones at the same time. And what's weird is phones now, and I just learned this because my mom and my brother got new phones. They don't have the port right here that has these headphones. So I don't know what I'm gonna do because like I don't like I like reliability, and I don't trust wireless headphones to be reliable because I've had them and then they're not reliable.
The new ones are pretty good.
Are they?
Yeah.
As good as Path of Daggers? Oh, I'm sorry. What can I say?
Well, it's time to go to bed.
Well, it's been a couple hours, so I figure but yeah, it was a great trip, and yeah, man.
Before we get off of the Japan stuff, because you got your very nice red hat there. We have to ask Trip whether or not it's triggering to see a man with a red hat on. Is that
why would that be important? Why would that be important? Not to disregard Trip's opinion.
It's important to make fun of Trip since she's here talking shit and making fun of people.
Well, I mean, maybe we deserve it. Maybe we deserve to be made fun of.
We have Nerd Porio.
Well, maybe Pips needs to be made fun of more.
Nerd Porio's over here wearing his make Nerd Porio great again hat. And
no, this is a Super Mario hat. I bought this in Osaka, so I mean I didn't have to have this. So no, it's totally a Mario thing. I don't know. I have by the way, I have this. So I bought this is like a Donkey Kong thing. So I don't know if you saw, but apparently the Nintendo is releasing a Switch 2 in a week or something.
I saw some scandals about how expensive it is.
So yeah, it's $80 so they're charging $80 for Mario Kart 9 or whatever, Mario Kart Universe or whatever they're calling it now. So I don't really have much here. I could just tell you I have a magnet. I have a magnet here. So this is I bought this at Fushimi Inari right here. So this, or what is it? Yeah, it says Japan. So I went to Japan because it says Japan right there in Roman letters right there. So what do I got here? I have some yen here. Wait, look. I just need to grab the coin. Right, let's see. How much do I have here? This is 100 yen. Wait.
Nope.
Right.
So about 5 cents.
100 yen. No, probably not even.
I know.
It's got it's lined up like a quarter, but
yeah.
100 yen is like less than 10 cents. It's like 8 cents or something like that. So I have some yen here on my person. But oh wait, I gotta put these. I got some Final Fantasy VII stuff. So this is something Angry Kenny gave me. So Sid Highwind and Vincent Valentine. These are characters from Final Fantasy VII. Um, there's other stuff I got, but
did you get any Japanese whiskey?
I did not. I did not because I wasn't sure how that was going to go. So I went from Osaka to Tokyo, and then to Tokyo to Montreal, and then Montreal back here. And I wasn't. What I'll probably do is next time I go there, and I will go there again. I loved Japan, by the way. I love Japan. It very different, but it was very different. But I actually, I don't know if you guys know that I do late night walks. I don't know if you guys know that I do late night walks. I did a late night walk in Osaka, and you know what? I was fine. I was totally fine.
You didn't get
in
mugged and or stabbed.
I didn't get mugged.
I
This is Niagara Country. I did not get stabbed. I did not get mugged. Someone came up to me, and what's funny was I was expecting the Japanese to be a lot shorter than me. I mean, I'm average height. I mean, if Pips met me. Anyone that's met me, I'm average height. I'm not as tall as most people. But honestly, like I was surprised. Like Japanese are taller than I thought they were. I'm not short. So, but like I had people come up. I had people come up to me and ask, hey, you want to come into this club? I'm like, no, I don't want to come into your club. I don't want to come into your club, whatsoever. So, but it's very everybody's very polite. Everybody in Japan is very polite, but at the same time, if you try to walk, everybody likes to walk. Everybody, people do not drive to work and back. Everybody takes public transportation, and when you're walking amongst Japanese people, they love to cut you off and everything. And I'm not joking. Like it's crazy. So it's just it's something that you gotta be very careful. You have to be very careful about. So, but it was a lot. I really enjoyed my trip. Like my favorite part of the trip was going to Kyoto and going up Fushimi Inari, basically. It's basically it's basically all the torii gates, all the red torii gates. You're going up these steps. You're going up this mountain. I believe it's a Shinto shrine. That's basically where I got. That's basically where I got this lantern right here. So I dropped my lid. So right here. So.
Nice.
Great time. Definitely check out some of the Buddhist temples too. I went here. I forget what was the name of the place. When Kanon-sama arises in your mind, then you are in oneness with Kanon-sama. I have no idea what that means. So this is the ticket. This is the ticket I had. So yeah, I still had stuff. So all right, but yeah, cool. I figured yeah, go and I've said too much already, so.
Well, I'm excited. I'm happy to hear that the trip was good. We hadn't gotten much chance to talk about it, and I don't know if I actually lived in Japan for a while when I was a kid. My dad was stationed in Okinawa, so not on the mainland, but I was in Okinawa. I did go to the mainland, a trip or two. I climbed Mount Fuji when I was 5 years old.
Really.
Yeah, I have the staff.
I do want to go there. Brands. I do want to go there next. I haven't been to Tokyo. I've been to Tokyo. I passed through Tokyo, but
so they give you get these walking staffs, and as you go up the mountain, they have these stations, and they will brand the hot metal brand. They'll brand the staff with a little mark that shows the station and the elevation and stuff like that along the path. So I have my branded walking staff, but it was a long time ago. I went to a actual like Japanese language school while I was there. So when I was very little, I spoke a little bit of Japanese.
Nani, nandesu?
It's all gone.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I can count a little bit.
Ichi ni
Ichi ni
san
san
yon
shido.
go Roku nana hachi kyuju.
See, your counting is already better than mine. I said.
Well, I mean, this is from freshman. This is from college.
Wow.
So I mean, I watch enough subtitled Japanese stuff, whether it be anime or movies like, for instance, where is it? This is what I'm currently watching right now. This is a movie that I think is really good. If you like World War II, I think this is a good movie to watch from the side of the Japanese. It's called The Human Condition. It's a movie by Masaki Kobayashi. And I mean, it's basically this is what it's about. The mammoth humanist drama. It's humanist, so bear with me. By Masaki Kobayashi is one of the most staggering. Now, this is a trilogy. This is a 10-hour film, separated into 6 films. So, the most staggering achievement of Japanese cinema, originally filmed and released in 3 installments of 2 parts each. The 9.5 hour Human Condition, adopted from Junpei Gomikawa's 6-volume novel, tells of the journey of the well-intentioned yet naive Kaji, played by the Japanese superstar Tatsuya Nakadai, from labor camp supervisor to Imperial Army soldier to Soviet prisoner of war. So 3 films, goes from running because this is about the Chinese. This is about the Japanese occupation of Manchuria. So the first part is about that, and the second part is about the same character trying to get screwed over. Second part is about him getting screwed over, and he becomes. So he does all this. He takes that job, so he doesn't get conscripted into the military, and then he gets into the military, and it becomes like, if you know anything about, I mean, you probably know more about the military than, well, dude, what am I saying? You know more about the military than anybody I know. Anything about it, like, especially how the Japanese were during World War II. I mean, it's one of the. Based on what I've watched, in the series so far, and I think you might like this. Yeah, I think you might like this movie, like this trilogy. The Japanese are very, I guess, very strict. Well, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm a little too. I've had a little too much to drink so far.
Well, we'll have to talk about it a little more when we're more sober. Get some down the wrong tube there, bud. You all right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have only watched 2. This is a movie trilogy, so I only watched 2 of the 3 movies. So I haven't watched the movie where the main character is because the Soviet Union declares war on Japan in 1945. Like, I think shortly, I don't know if it's before. I think it's a little bit after the Germans surrender in Europe. So we actually in the second movie, we see a battle between the Japanese in Manchuria and the Soviet Union, and the main character ends up becoming a Soviet prisoner of war. I haven't watched that yet myself, but I've watched the second movie. It's very brutal. Like, even though this is an old movie, these movies came out. The first movie came out in 1959. The second movie came out in 1960. And I think the final movie came out in 1961 or 62. These movies, even though this was before the rating system, the movie, I mean, these are very brutal, and like this is an example. There's Godfather, many movies back in the day, like, justified their length. Like if a movie was over 3 hours, you had to tell a story. You had to tell a story, and every scene in my opinion, every scene had to be important. And I feel that's the case with this. This is called The Human Condition. I've owned this for a while, but I actually didn't really start watching until I came back from Japan. So, and Pips, I see you're getting really bored by this conversation. I gotta.
No, I'm just trying to make sure.
No,
that
yeah, you are. Yes, you totally are.
I just need to actually remember the name of this movie. I'm terrible at that. Where someone will give me a recommendation, and I'll. Like,
I mean, I don't know.
I'll like, shit. What was the name of that book? Like, just.
This is a Criterion, so this is more expensive. You know what's weird is, I mean, you guys can make fun of me for being critical of Robert Jordan and all that, but I what's weird is I'm into the more artsy fartsy type of movies. Like I own a copy of Solaris. I own a copy of I mean, I don't know if Seven Samurai counts, but I own a copy of the Seven Samurai right here. Well, that doesn't count. What else do I got? Rashomon. I have Rashomon. You know, the movie where the whole idea of different. You know, you something happens and you encounter you find out the different perspectives behind that single encounter, whether it's a murder or something like that. You know, you get the different. You get the different takes and all that. That came from Kurosawa. That came from this. Well, at least I think. I don't know. I don't know. I've had too much to drink. So, but you know, it's been 2.5 hours. I know you're really busy. You know, you've. I mean, I consider myself lucky to get Pips to do these things. You know, every now and then, because
I told everyone already,
unlike Pips, I mean, I'm single guy. I'm more flexible, but Pips has a lot more. He has a lot more stuff going on in his life, and he has a lot more. So, like, the fact that I can get him to do something like this is a miracle. Is nothing short of a miracle. So, so man, I mean, with Wheel of Time ending and all that, what's going on with you? Like, you know, is there anything you want to promote? Is there anything? Is there anything White Cloaks related, or did you accomplish your mission? Is the Pips, you know, like is his mission totally accomplished? And it's rude to sneeze on, you know, a corporeal stream, you know. I'm kidding. I do the same thing all the time. But yeah, man, what's going on? What's going to happen, man? I mean, I really appreciate you doing this. I mean, I have too much to drink. I hate you. I hate you for getting me into whiskey again. You know why I even got interested in whiskey again? It was the one drink I didn't hate. I'll be honest. Like I'd be hanging out with fraternity brothers. I'd be hanging out with friends. You know, at like, you know, they'd be, you know, hanging out with, you know, they'd be doing, you know, it would be like a music. I'd be going to music concerts where I would go just for the sake of being a friend, but I would hate the music. I would be bored with it, so I would drink or something. And whiskey was the only thing that kind of kept me sane throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, because it's tasty. You get something you like.
It was the one thing. That I think it was the thing that you and I initially got connected via DM, via digital media, via digital messaging on X about. Besides, you know, talking about, you know, House of the Dragon, which was what we initially. I believe that's how we initially, you know, bonded, or initially. That's how we initially bonded, you know, through Prophet the Dragon. So I think it's interesting. It's interesting how you meet people through other people. So I met Pips through Prophet. So I have to give Prophet all the credit for this right here.
You have to blame Steve for
I have to blame Steve, and you especially have to blame Steve, because I mean, being friends with me, I mean, I don't know how you lived through it. Like, honestly, like no, I'm serious. Like I mean, I'm the type of person that just people just don't care about.
No, man, you invite me on, and we get to sit here, and I get to drink some bourbon with somebody and have a conversation about things. Have my favorite book series in the world just trash talked for 2.5 hours. So it's just good times. It's good times had by all.
Hey, it's not like I haven't given you room to push back on me.
And then, like interspersed in there, I get to force you to admit that I was 100% right about Andor, that you were wrong.
I hate you forever for that. I hate you forever for that. Because like right after this is going to happen, I'm going to watch the last 2 episodes of season 2, and I might even watch Rogue One.
Oh man,
no, I think I might be with people when they say it, like like how people say the Clone Wars elevates the prequels. Well, I think this show elevates Rogue One. No way.
All right. Well, I'll find out when I when I.
Well, you hate you. I don't know. You're just a hater. What can I say? You just
true. That's true.
That's not true. That's not true.
People who know me, the one.
It's not true. The reason why I'm even watching Andor is because of this guy. This motherfucker right here.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean I don't mean to say. Well, actually, I did say it, but.
Well, to answer your question, I don't know what the future is, man. I mean,
you definitely should check out.
I think we'll probably change the way that we do the rewatches if we finish them to make it a little less labor intensity. Amazon is no longer doing the copy strikes against Wheel of Time because allegedly they're not doing copy strikes against Wheel of Time anymore now that it has been canceled, which is good. So we can probably get away with doing a lot more of a live stream format and do a lot less editing, which the editing is the thing that I just don't have time in my life for anymore, unfortunately.
I mean, I think we all understand.
And so, it's just one of those things where especially, when I'm traveling and doing stuff, it's cool to take the opportunity where hey, I'm gone from home, but I get to spend the night and have a drink, hang out with friends. And that's cool. But yeah, the editing really, really sucks. I haven't done a whole lot of editing myself.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's a lot of work. Yeah. And I haven't really been as motivated to do so. So
yeah,
the only thing that motivates me is doing these tutorials, and I have to. And plus, and the thing is, I honestly, I'm surprised you're cool with me having all these assets of you. I was considering asking you to do something where you'd be like, nerd, I'm not doing any more of these fucking things for you. I'm totally done with you and everything. So yeah, something like that. Well, maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah, nerd. I'm not doing more of these fucking things for you, and then you have to fight another supervillain, and then of course dude, I'm elevating your ass. You're winning. You're taking your carbine, your carbine rifle, and you're shooting. You're beating all these bad guys. At least in my intros that I've been doing. Yeah. So yeah. I've never shot a carbine rifle until I met this guy.
Well, yeah, we had a decent time going shooting at the range, so that was good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and the my mindset was the entire time was now, as much as I like to argue with you and everything, you're military. This is what you do. This is what you do for a living, and I hate you for it. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, this is Memorial Day weekend, and you're over here talking, man. All right.
I am not saying any. I'm not saying any smack. I have been nothing but respectful, and no. Well, actually, I actually appreciate you doing the quick little crash course on gun safety. because I mean, I'm in Chicago. What do we do here? We don't. I mean, we expect the police come to save our asses. I mean,
in Chicago,
that's
you guys don't do
what we
gun
expect.
safety in Chicago. You do guns unsafety.
And like you said, gun safety. If something happens, it's definitely our fault. So okay, I don't know why I said that, but
the views of the Nerdporial represent the views of the Nerdporial.
I hate you. I hate you, buddy. I hate you. I hate you when you're right. So it's been 2.5 hours. I know you gotta go. You got stuff to do. I know you got stuff to do. So
yeah, it's been a long weekend. So just a background for because the announcement of the cancellation was Friday night, right?
It was Friday afternoon, actually.
Yeah, so Friday afternoon, and so my Thursday, I was at home with kids and stuff like that, with my kid, wife, and trying to knock out like all of the projects and stuff that I had to do before leaving for work and doing some stuff. And also this weekend was my brother's graduation, so I was going to that. So anybody who's ever done stuff up in an attic in the summer, so I had to replace the fan, the vent, the fan in our attic vent had the motor was shot and the thermometer was shot. So had to go up in the attic and figure out where the proper power line was and go figure out which breaker connected it. And then I had to, pull the motor and do all this stuff. And it was too corroded. So I had to cut the blades off the fan to be able to get it out and replace the fan blade as well as the motor, do all this shit. Right. So I spent, hours in the morning sweating my ass off in the attic as it, was getting like 90, 100, 110 degrees inside the attic.
Uh-huh.
So just doing all this work. And then at the end of the day, it's like, all right, cool. We dinner with the family, and then it's time for me to get on the road. And I drove 7 hours.
You drove all the way up to New York, basically?
No. So I drove halfway. So I drove 7 hours. I stopped at my cousin's house. I got there at 3 a.m. and I slept for 5 hours. Not even 5 hours, less than 5 hours.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I guess it was about 4.5 hours. Had coffee, got on the road, drove another 7 hours.
Uh-huh.
And then arrived and hey, I'm here with family and friends, and we got stuff that's on the schedule, and we're doing stuff. So I'm doing all those things, and then all right, crash, right? And I get 6 hours of sleep because I have to wake up early the next morning to go to the actual graduation, right? And
a certain president, I heard a certain president was there too.
A certain president was
there. certain things there. So I saw some of the graduation showed up on my X account.
Okay. So. I will say this. I was
curious. I was curious if I could see which one was your. Which one resembled you? Which one was your brother, and all that? So I don't know.
Unlikely. There's like 800 white guys in the class. But so the speech that he gave was it was long because it's Donald Trump. He runs long.
You tell me.
Yeah. The first like 10-15 minutes was actually like really good.
Uh-huh.
And then he had like a campaign speech that he kind of gave.
Oh no.
and then he like gave his like 5 lessons, life lessons for you guys as graduates. And the 5 life lessons were not bad, but he gave some like stories for some of them, and those also kind of ran long a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And then the last like 10 minutes was pretty good as well. So like it was like the bookend of the speech was like really good. And then it was like a campaign speech and a like kind of mediocre graduation speech. And then but like the beginning stuff like I said, was actually really good. He had the audience laughing. Like,
Yeah,
say what you will about Donald Trump, he is a funny guy.
he is a funny guy.
He,
I'm telling you, this Pips guy is very, 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 very tremendous. He is the greatest. He's the greatest of them all. I can't do with Trump. To my ability, I cannot do it. I cannot do it with Trump. And poor Trip for having to listen to this, because I know she hates Trump with passion. So
that's part of the reason I wanted to go into it, just to tweak her tail a little bit. I hadn't seen her leave a comment in a minute, and I wanted to see if she was still around.
We all know how she feels about a certain 45th/47th president. So, all right. Anything else? I mean, is there anything rewatch related that you want to point out? I know.
Nah, brother. We'll
I know you've been like you said, like the fact that Pips is showing up is here on my stream, is nothing short of a miracle. What can I say?
I like how Brian sells it like I'm some sort of celebrity. I think I think
oh no, you're not. You're not a celebrity. You're just a really busy guy who has a lot going on, and I understand that, and a lot of other people understand it too. So I mean, having a family, having a kid. I mean, I'm surprised you're here. I'm surprised you're available. Like that it's a miracle. Like I've met my two of my closest friends here in Chicago are both married, and they have children, and they have very little time to spend with me. So that's just how it is. So
it is.
The fact is we all understand that you have even less time. Like you're only here half of the time. You're in the Middle East the other half of the year, right?
We'll see how long that goes.
Yes, we'll see how long that is. I mean, I'm eventually, I know you met up with Will. I'm curious when we're going to meet up. We're going to meet up again, but that's a story for another day. Probably for way down down the line.
I would think the next time will probably be in Chicago, probably.
Well, if you ever do come to Chicago, I will totally host you. I will, I will buy you what I think is the best burger. You might totally disagree with me on that. And I hate you for it.
As long as you don't try and buy me what you think is the best pizza, I don't think our friendship could survive that. A lot of people hate. A lot of people like to hate on Chicago style pizza. Chicago style pizza is not nearly as bad as I mean, I initially had the same exact misgivings, about super roasted pizza when I was growing up, and then I had Portillo's, and then I was like, you know what? It's not bad. So I am willing to change my mind about certain things. Because I am very, because I'm very enlightened. I'm very progressive, and that is, if there's one thing that everyone knows about the Nerd Portal, anybody who knows him, they'll tell you that he's very progressive. That is true.
Extremely. I mean, I'm from Chicago. We gaslight by what do you call where? Never mind.
Gaslighting.
We just gaslight. We like to gaslight. We like to make. We normally like to do that. Because that's what we do in Chicago. So all right,
that's Chicago style.
Then okay. I can't blame the drink. For bad I don't know.
The chat's about to start getting contentious in there talking about pineapple on pizza. I mean, we probably.
I went to California. I did not hate pineapple on pizza.
I mean, I'm gonna say I personally enjoy pineapple on pizza.
Okay, so it's weird. You and me have something in common for once.
because it's it's Hawaiian pizza. It's
California. You're from California. I mean, I know you're from California. I don't know if anyone else. Well, I assume everyone else does. I'm never on the Band of the Red Hand, so I probably know less about you than everyone else on the Band of the Red Hand knows about you. So
people can probably tell from the accent. I've been told that I have the Northern California accent, which is not like the Surfer Bro Southern California accent,
right?
But it's the accent where I just sound really bored about everything.
Yeah. Yeah, Northern California.
Yeah. That's how I've had it described. I remember when I was going through college, I got told by my upperclassmen, and they were like, if it wasn't that like you do well at things, I would think that you didn't care because you just sound so bored and you just like you don't seem like you give a shit about anything. It's like, but then you like work your ass off and like you do the thing. And so I got accused of, well, I got told that I needed to fix myself.
I have no idea what you're talking about personally.
Trip apparently thinks that I have a Southern accent, which makes no sense to me.
No, yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about. I personally have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, it is weird now that I just sort of thinking about it, that like I've lived in the South, depending on how charitable you are in your description of the South, for almost as long as I lived in California. Actually, like I'm a year away from about equal time. So
really
pretty close to having as much time spent in the South.
What brought you? I've always been. I went to. No secret. I went to UIC in Chicago here. So I had the opportunity to go to Bradley. I had the opportunity to go to. Actually, I don't think I didn't get into Urbana. I tried to get into Urbana. The ACT was really high to get into their engineering school. So, but I decided to stay in Chicago for the sake of my dad was getting sick. My mother was supporting us here, and I decided not to move far for college, and that's why. And plus, unlike you, I'm an asthmatic. I didn't run a mile until I was 23 years old, to be honest. It took me a very long. When I was a kid, when they actually did, have us tested for, pull-ups and running miles and all that, I couldn't do any of that stuff. So you can laugh. I mean, I know you have to do that for a living, so you can totally laugh at me right now about that. I mean, what can you do? Like 50 pull-ups in like 20 seconds or something like that, something like that. So if you don't understand the joke, I like to be hyperbolic about Pips's abilities and all that stuff, so to get him to laugh and to get the audience to laugh too. But like I couldn't run a mile for years. I mean, I would have to right now. I'd have to rebuild myself in order to do something like that personally. I'd have to get back on the treadmill or something. But as an asthmatic, I like even when I was on the wrestling team, I had to take a break and all that. I couldn't run a mile for the life of me. So, it's funny how it's funny how we connect in different. It's funny how we connect in different ways, but yeah, you and I are very different individuals. We've lived very different lives. You got. I mean, you lived. Probably was gainfully employed, got married, and all that. It was the exact opposite for me. So I mean, but yet you and I are still here communicating, still getting along in a way. So I'm not telling you to feel sorry for me. Actually, you should do the opposite. You should actually berate me and make me feel bad and all that stuff. But um um but I'm just like we're two very different people, and yet we're still. It's possible to have a conversation, and that's kind of the point of Chilporeal. That's kind of the point of what I'm doing right now. And what's funny is I actually really enjoy this. Pips, you've been a very big. I mean, I've developed right now. I've developed in many ways that you wouldn't believe, and you've been part of that inspiration, and I really appreciate it. And I mean, I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know how you would feel about that, but I mean, once again, I think the drink is making me say more than I probably should. But it's true. But it's actually really true, and I really appreciate just I don't know. I just really appreciate it. It's been very encouraging me. It's been very encouraging to basically have to be able to talk to people like you and many other people. And yeah, don't let it get to your head. Don't let it get to your head. Just saying.
Never. I was gonna say, well, I appreciate the sentiment, and it's good. It's good having you as a friend, being able to do these streams, hang out, have some conversations. Gives me an excuse to go and buy alcohol, other than just being an alcoholic. I get to tell myself,
I mean, you're the reason why. I mean, I've never really gotten into alcohol. Like, it's never really been a big thing for me. It's never been much of anything to me, but I don't know. Like, I mean, one of our initial conversation, I said this earlier, was you being very like I took a slight interest in alcohol, especially whiskey, and you took it to like the next level. You're like, we got to have a whiskey stream.
That's because
we had a whiskey stream, and then we not only did we have a whiskey stream, but like there was like a level of trust that you're like should we have had this level of trust, especially with our initial interaction and all that. Like you sent us stuff.
I could have totally
a little flat. You could have totally like I could be like totally like that.
Sent you guys bottles of drain cleaner.
Me, and I think it was Mags. It was three of us. So
yeah.
So I mean, I blame you for. I mean, I spent like $130 on this. This
man,
Lagavulin. I mean, I can also blame Dane for this too, because Dane bought the 16 on Friday.
I think you should blame Dane. Spread the blame around. So
I will blame Dane, but I mean,
that's a little too rich for my blood. I stuck to like a $50 bottle for myself over here.
Well, I'll say this.
But then
this
again,
was
she beats me if I spend too much money on booze. She's
dude. I was watching one of my old videos, and you said I beat you. Like, how would I beat you? I'm like 7 inches shorter than you.
Yeah, you're very aggressive. It's the Chicagoan in you.
I think I don't know what I don't know what it is, but it's not. It's definitely not that. You're like 10 times. You're like 15 times stronger than me. Like, there's regular strength, which is what I am, and then there's Marine strength, which is what you are. So. I'm sorry. I mean, you might. I mean, I know you're very humble about it.
No, it's the dad bod. I got dad strength now. That's what it is.
Exactly.
You have old man strength, but I have dad strength. That's it's.
Pips, I thought you were the old man. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm totally the old man of the two of us. So No, man, but I mean, yeah, but the only thing you beat me with is mean words, like just like I cry every time you make fun of me and all that. So no, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. So, but yeah, it's been 3 hours, dude. I have to let you off. I don't know. I don't know how you're still sane after all this.
Well, the booze helps.
The boost most certainly helps. So, but yeah, I'm probably gonna watch the last 2 episodes tonight. Definitely
Dude,
gonna do that.
I'm trying to convince myself that I need to go straight to bed and not watch one more episode.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you wanted to do this, but you never responded. So I'm assuming that it's all up in the air. And plus, how busy you are with changing life and all that.
What didn't I respond to?
Path of Daggers book club. Path of Daggers book club. I messaged you about it, but you didn't respond. So I am assuming, or as they say in England, I'm assuming that you can't do it, which is fine.
I think
because once again, if you have a kid, I don't know how you're sane, but that's just me. That's just me as a single person.
I think my thing with that is that you need to set the schedule that you're going to do it on, and if I can make it, then I'll make it. I just don't want to make too many commitments at the moment because, for example, I mean, like, it sucks. Like we had to take my wife and I had to take our son to like the ER, at like late at night to go. He had a double ear infection. So
oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that.
He was in quite a state, right? And so it's just always a thing, it's one.
Well, that's what having a kid. That's basically what having a kid is. I mean, I'm not even a dad, and I mean, I can't say that. Sorry.
So
Pips, tell me to shut the fuck up. Say, Brian, you're not a dad. You're single. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Just shut the fuck up.
I would never. So anyway, make your plan, make your schedule. Send me the invite, and if I can,
because you in particular like Path the Dagger. Well, I mean, you like Path the Daggers. There are things about it that you like, and I want to have I want to have the Pips opinion. I nearly said your real name. You said your actual name.
You can't handle the truth.
What's funny is I never saw that movie. I still have not seen Few Good
Men. What?
I'm not joking. I've not seen that movie. I've seen that clip. I've seen the Jack Nicholson saying it. I've never seen that movie, honestly. I have not seen Born on the 4th of July. I've not seen there's a lot of war movies. The Michael J. Fox war movie. I've not seen that. There's a lot of movies I have not seen. So sue me.
That is such a great movie. I mean,
what? Few Good Men.
Yeah,
I have not seen it. I mean, I told you I finally watched Band of Brothers like a few months ago.
I don't know. Maybe Trip agrees with me. It's a travesty. Maybe what we need to do is we need to do
well,
another.
I mean, I have very subtle taste. Like I am watching The Human Condition. And if you don't know The Human Condition, by Masashi Kobayashi, this is actually a really good movie. If I could find a way, I could send you a copy of the movie. But this is what the movie looks like right here. I mean, this is an iconic shot of of what the first film entails. Basically, it's about a guy who is on the Japanese side. Who runs a mining operation, and they're using Chinese labor to get everything. And this takes place in I think 1943. So when the Italians surrendered, and the second movie takes place shortly before the Germans surrendered in 1945. So, but then again, I don't know nearly as much about war or battles or military because Pips is the military genius right here. Look at those sunglasses. I mean, like if you look at those sunglasses, like that's clearly military. I mean, he's been in the military, went to the Naval Academy.
These are like
he went to the Naval Academy.
Like,
he's a
pickups.
Marine. He's a Marine officer. And I'm just what do you call me? A dipshit from Chicago.
Is Brian trying to dox me right now? Is Brian trying to dox me?
I have not said your name. There are times where I've nearly said your name, but well, no, but like, well, you know where the dipshit thing came from? They came from me being at your house, covering Picard. That's where the dipshit thing came from. So. I think. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. And then after that, it's never been the same. So, I'm sorry I interrupted you. I'm totally out of line.
No, I was just gonna say that we should definitely watch A Few Good Men and do a thing for it, and then
all right. I'll have to write that down. All right, let's see. A Few Good Men. The paper. Let's see. Pen.
Otherwise, I was going to suggest that both you and I get to bed because my behind these shades over here, my eyes are drooping.
You're not joking. I'm the same way. So, A Few Good Men by PIPS. All right, A Few Good Men by PIPS in the future. All right, I wrote it down. It's right here. It's in Scribble because that's as far as I can go. So, all right, man. Man, I appreciate the. I love I love having these conversations. I love us disagreeing. I love us disagreeing on stuff. But that's because I know you can back up what you have to say, and it will help me. Be basically, see the fuller picture and all that.
You just wanted to have this opportunity to talk about how great Andor is, and that's
yes. I hate you for recommending the show to me in the first place.
Yeah,
season 1. I'll be honest. Season 1 did get better after I rewatched it, and I hate
just
you
like Wheel of Time.
I hate you.
Do a reread. You'll have to just read it again. It makes it better.
What's weird is you're probably okay. You're most likely right, and I hate myself for admitting this, but you're probably right. I just probably don't have. I'm probably not going to have the time to do such a thing, especially if the first read is rough.
Well,
I mean,
we'll see how you feel when you finish it, but. Thanks for coming out.
Man. So, is there anything? I know I already asked this, but is there anything else you want to promote?
Nah.
Is there White Club? Okay, all right. So everybody, thanks for being here. Pips, I love you, in not a gay way. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But once again, thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for checking this out. Definitely check out the last few tutorials I did. I did one with the Ginger Ninja and Gray. We talked about Japan. Angry Canadian, me and him. Now, Angry Canadian was my main host, so we're definitely going to do one next month. He's been pretty busy himself out there. So definitely check. So definitely be on the lookout for that in late June. And I was also on with Amber. We talked about Star Trek: The Next Generation. How dare you sneeze? So when I talk about Star Trek,
I was trying to hit the mute button and I was too slow.
I see. Okay, I see. So you have to watch Star Trek 3. So since I gave you all 6 of the original films when I visited you. You have to watch Star Trek 3, and I want to talk about Star Trek 3 with you.
Gosh, I have to talk to you about Star Trek again.
Again, yes. We didn't really talk about it. You watched Wrath of Khan when I was hanging out with Nathan, so I want to hear your take on the Wrath of Khan personally.
It was good. I still haven't forgiven you for making me watch Picard though. So like, I feel like, what's the?
I'm gonna make the update. I'm gonna make the update of this and with the Wrath of Khan, and you and I have to definitely talk about it. Like that movie has elevated it might be my number one movie of all time. Pops asked me to come up with 10, top 10 movies. That might be my number one movie of all time. As a kid, I would not have thought of it, but as an adult, after living, through, lots of different things, it might be my number one film. So,
well,
I mean, is the acting perfect? No.
Some people in the audience might know that my number one favorite movie of all time is The Princess Bride. And
I saw The Princess Bride. It's okay.
All other answers.
I thought it was Spaceballs. I thought Spaceballs was your number one.
All other answers are false. The Princess Bride is the best movie of all time.
Why? Curious why. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Well, yeah, it's funny. We were on this. I think we were on a stream together or something. Yeah. So being on an Reporter stream is awesome. Being on a PIPS stream, doing white book stuff, is the exact opposite. Like, he's just Pips once you get Pips on a path, he's going to keep going and going and going. And if you don't say anything, he's just going to ignore the shit out of you, because that's what Pips does. So that's just my observation.
The views of the Nerdporial
obviously I'm the better streamer between me and the Pips. So no, I'm kidding. That's actually not fair. Honestly, that's not fair, but that's just, but like, if I'm quiet and stuff, if I'm on a Pips stream and I'm quiet, Pips is not going to notice me at all. Like, that's just how it is. Whereas I'm very different. I will, if somebody's quiet, I'm going to say, hey, what's going on with you? What are your thoughts on this? That way, that way, like, once again, I'm from Chicago, more progressive. And I'm more inclusive. I'm the more inclusive between me and Pips. I'm the more inclusive type.
That's like there's anything wrong with that. That's the pro YouTuber move right there. Is the as they say.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's just I've been on your streams. I mean, unless you do another stream and you prove me wrong, I've been bored. And stuff. But when you're on mine, I mean, I make sure that you are happy, that you have stuff to say, and that you have something, that you have stuff to say, and that you're happy. Ultimately, that's what I care about.
But your job is easy, because I'm always happy. You're
just yourself. You're just yourself. So, but that's so. So if you, that was the difference. So when we did the Princess Bride stream, I was kind of bored. I was like, you know what, maybe I should leave. So, but then again, that's just me. That, like, once again, the drink in me is talking too much. I shouldn't be saying this. So, Pips, I'm sorry, I'm saying all this stuff. You have your own way of doing things. I have my own way of doing things. I have no right to judge how you do things. So, but yeah, man. Let's just end it here. Yeah, man. Let's all right. So Pip says it, all this stuff say. All right. So anything left? No? Good. All right. So let's do a to be continued. Once again, thanks buddy for doing this. I know you're really busy with life and all that. And let's say goodbye, Star Trek TNG style, like the old book club streams right here. So here we go.
All right. Well, goodbye. Thanks again for having me. It was a good time.